Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Some of the most meaningful jewelry you own isn't new. It's inherited. A ring from a grandmother, a necklace full of memories, but no longer your style. Duke's Jewelers reimagines family heirlooms into custom pieces you'll actually wear and love. Working one-on-one, Duke's designers honor the original story while creating something fresh and modern. Don't let meaningful jewelry sit unused. Let it live on beautifully. Visit Duke's Jewelers in Springville or online at dukesjewelers.com, where old stories become new treasures.
Hey! This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself, I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome in, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you. Thanks for being with us. This is a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. And that means free stuff, courtesy of our producer, Alex Napolis. Appreciate that. Did they Venmo you back for those purchases? Oh, good. Well, that's a first.
Good.
Oh, yeah, the expense report. Oh. Listen, JJ and I both could tell you. Last thing you want to start doing, filling out paperwork for your P card.
Part of the job.
They will hunt. You think that collections from the state of Utah or from a medical company is bad?
The IRS has nothing.
We have a department that will absolutely run you. Where's your receipt, Napolis? I'm going to need that receipt. You're going to have to go dig through the Delta Center dumpster. Sorry. It's just how it goes.
Did you eat the receipt? They'll still ask for it.
They want it. They still want it. You know where to find it. You better go get it. Hey, listen. We do have Jazz tickets to give away. And it's for that Nuggets game coming up here at home, right? Yeah, it's for the Nuggets. So good game also to be had. I was listening to Scotty talking about this too because he was going to give away a 4-pack of tickets, but he said I'll give you some. This is separate from our giveaway, but he goes I'm willing to actually make it to the tickets to be next year. So you can choose between this year and next year because next year and look, that's a pretty good offer. You know what I mean? Hey, it's a limited. We're giving these away for this year, right? So I don't know about, but I thought that was interesting for him to go. Hey, we'll do it. We'll do it for next season. You know why? Team might be better. Maybe you actually have time.
Hot commodity. Next year.
Home games? Luck. How many home games does Jazz even have left? We're talking 8 games. 2 home games left. Okay, sneak it in. Let's go. Some of the final times to be able to check out the Jazz this season.
You're not going to beat the prices at a Jazz game.
Can you call this a historic
for the next 2 games
season?
Historic?
You call it a historic season?
Historically forgettable.
That's what I'm saying. For that reason. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know, but you know what? That's tough because, it's all part of the process. I've come to terms with it. It's all part of the process, and it's kind of like in life when you've got to go through a difficult situation, growing pains to get where you want to go, right? Jazz fans have gone through the growing pains. You'll remember it. You'll carry the scars with you. And then when things get really good, you'll look back on those scars with a feeling of accomplishment.
Hold on, let's go.
We made it through the dark days.
Listen, let's go further through this metaphor because you and I have teenagers.
We crawled through the mud.
Let's go further with this analogy.
We're Andy Dufresne. We made it through the poop tunnel.
We're Andy.
We made it.
Poop tunnel.
Let the rain come down and wash it off of us.
Isn't it Duchesne?
Andy, no, Dufresne. Duchesne is the county.
That's right.
These kids coming in with a correction. Oh my gosh. I'm going to further the metaphor though. because because we've basically not that one, not the Andy Dufresne poop tunnel. By the way, write it down for stuff I've actually never said on the radio over 20-something years. This one, this is the Jazz just got through puberty. A few years ago.
Do they still smell?
That's what I'm saying. The deodorant's been going on a lot more often lately.
Yeah.
Next year, they're going to be the kid who comes back to school and they go, man, that guy grew, I think, like 5 inches over the summer, dude.
The Jazz don't smell like Axe body spray anymore.
So there it is. Yeah, so a few years ago, they had the where babies come from talk with the Jazz. 4 or 5 years later, we've gotten through the most awkward, lanky, gross part of the time of the growing up.
Yeah.
And the attitude has always been there. Still might hold on a little bit, but they're maturing. See? There is a lot to be able to kind of find that correlation on there. All right? We got to start the show off. We're still talking Jazz to start the program off because we have a lot to talk about. I never thought we'd see it, but we have a tanking power pole, a tankathon power pole. Like you're higher up.
Tanking in the league is so bad. We now have tanking power poles.
Like, I thought, why can't it be a lack of power pole? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to fire it up with the cut as we always do when we start the program off. Let's kick it off now. Right now, top of the program, it's the cut.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, so here's what we have. The Jazz, of course, walking into, took a loss last night at home. I did have an RIP moment for Sam Merrill's over-under. You took the under. You punched that button, and you were right. But I don't think
he puts a lot of pressure on himself when he comes home. He wants to do well.
This is not – Sam Merrill's never gone 0 for 8 ever on anything.
And he won't again.
So, but the Cavaliers got the win. The Cavs have two. The Cavs have two guys with a game high 34 points, including Donovan Mitchell. Was Evan Mobley the other?
Evan Mobley was the other.
So Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell combined for 68 points, and Donovan has a nice return back. And then everybody got what they wanted. It was not a poorly played game by the Jazz.
The Jazz had a 2-point lead in the fourth quarter.
They were going. They went at it. This is the perfect way to be able to do it. Like I said, the maturation video that they watched a few years ago got them to this point.
Try to black that out of my memory.
I bring it up every so often so my kids cringe.
Oh,
hey, remember we were over at Beacon Heights Elementary and you had to watch that video with me? So I have this vivid memory of my. This is our first child going through it too when I did it years ago. And the screen comes up. He puts his hoodie over his head and pulls the drawstrings so hard, and I'm just laughing in the gym. It's phenomenal. Anyway, everybody's got those scars. So Jazz take the loss last night. Now 7 games left on the year. But like you said, they played. Dude, Flip had another 20-point game.
That's 3 in a row.
And he's just been, but he's shooting the lights out still too.
4 of 7 from 3.
What can you not like about this kid?
10 rebounds, 5 assists.
He's
3
making it,
steals, a block.
He's making it tough on the Jazz to.
He's got to be in the rotation.
It has to be on this roster.
He's their backup 4.
It's not like you look at him and you go, yeah, but he's undersized. I mean, this guy has every.
He's undersized at the 5, not the 4.
No, for sure. But guess what? He's going to be asked to go in and replace Lauri Markkanen, who, by the way, is all of these things that he's becoming, right? Or is that too aggressive of a?
Oh, I mean, is he Lauri Markkanen?
No.
Can he play that type of position coming off the bench? Yeah, that's an adequate second unit guy.
Is he athletic enough that he could develop enough to be that Lauri?
He doesn't have the athleticism of Lauri Markkanen.
That's what I'm saying.
No. There's a reason why he was picked 32nd overall.
Okay. Well,
but he shouldn't have been. But there was a reason. So did he have Lauri Markkanen's athleticism? No. Is he undersized for a 5? Yes. Is he athletic enough to play the 4? He's going to prove that, I guess. Can he shoot the 3? Absolutely. Can he stretch the floor? Absolutely. Is he a good defender? No. Does he got to get stronger? Yes. There's all those question marks with him, but he's terrific. I think he's great. And you've got him on your roster. You got him in your pipeline here. Don't lose him unless you can trade him and flip him.
Hey,
for
I see what you did there.
Somebody better or something better, but I don't know what that is. What do you want? You want really good young players on rookie deals in your second unit, I think.
Would you Okay, I'm going to make this an awkward conversation. I'm going to give you the two names. I'm going to give you names, and then you have to just tell me which one you want long term. Kyle Filipowski or Cody Williams? I told you he's going to get awkward.
Cody Williams, because I think Cody Williams' athleticism
I told you he was going to get awkward.
I think that what is more common in the league? 3-and-D athletic wing or an undersized 4 that can shoot the 3? The 3-and-D wing is more of a premium. So that's why I'm going to go with that. But I wouldn't want to get rid of either of them.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
But if you have to pick and choose, I'm going with the athletic 3-and-D wing.
But I think about what Flip has done this year, and I think about how far he's come in the amount of time.
Yeah.
He's definitely made more strides than Cody has. I guess the ceiling for Cody Williams is higher.
Correct.
That's probably the idea.
You just nailed it.
So, okay.
And we're seeing him approach that ceiling this season. And what's going to happen in year 3 with Cody Williams? I cannot wait to find out.
Me too.
Now, he's not getting 37 minutes next year to score 26 points. Okay, Cody's not getting 37 minutes. Bryce Sensabaugh's not getting 26.
Right.
Flip, by the way, only played 24 last night.
Not a bad night.
But what can they do in smaller samples? Is the growth that they got from this year playing more minutes, does that help them adapt and play better in the limited minutes they'll get next year? We will see.
Okay. Bryce Sensabaugh or Cody Williams?
Cody Williams. Same thing.
Bryce Sensabaugh or Kyle Filipowski?
Filipowski.
Okay. See, I'm getting enlightened here.
Stretch 4. That there's just and a rebounder. Bryce Sensabaugh is a terrific scorer, and that's clear.
Okay.
Can he defend at a high enough level that he doesn't hurt you while he's on the floor?
I like this. I like that game. That's a fun game. I'm not going to throw any more names out there. Did I miss somebody you thought it might be a little bit close on? Ace is obviously going to be Ace.
That's a no-brainer. No,
and I think that's going to be
Ace. You got Ace at number 5, and you're
at
laughing
some point,
all the way to the bank.
You might have the luxury. We might have the luxury at some point later in the summer to go Ace Bailey or AJ DeBonsa starting at that spot.
Yeah.
But I think that even then the decision. I think we asked Ben Anderson that last week, right? It was like, I think that you go just because he's going to be a rookie. That's you might have to just go. Well, wait a second here. And he'll do the role that.
If you get number 1 overall and it's AJ DeBonsa, I don't think you're having that conversation.
Okay.
I think it's from day 1.
All right. Okay.
You're already seeing it when he's playing in college. He needs more space. What's he going to do with more space? He scored 35 points in a college game with less space. He's going to be dynamite. Of course, somebody already thinks that the Jazz are going to get DeBonsa anyway because it's all tampered with.
Oh, now this is funny. Now, I thought he was out of the business all the way. But he doesn't have to focus on any basketball this time of year, probably ever.
He's free right now.
Doug Gottlieb, who is do we introduce him as his basketball title? Since head coach of University of Wisconsin, Green Bay. Isn't that what it is?
It's just the Green Bay Phoenix, right?
Okay.
They got rid of the UW, all that crap.
JW with the flat. JJ with the flex on the Wisconsin teams that he knows.
I watch a lot of Horizon League.
That's never been said on these airwaves. Okay.
I'd rather watch Horizon League than crawl through a poop tunnel.
All right. Here's Doug Gottlieb, and here's what he had to say on Colin Cowherd's podcast today, because you know what? He didn't have enough. He needed to come back and feel relevant again, and he threw down a pretty hot take that Jazz fans, Ryan Smith, AJ DeBonsa fans should probably all look at and be like, ooh, I don't know if I like this guy. Here's what Doug Gottlieb said to Colin Cowherd about AJ.
First thing everybody should know is that if the Utah Jazz have the number 1 pick, they're taking AJ DeBonsa. How do I know? He went to Utah Prep, which is funded by Ryan Smith. He went to BYU, which is funded by Ryan Smith. Ryan Smith owns the Utah Jazz. If you want to call something tampered, there's never been a person that has ever been tampered with more than AJ DeBonsa to end up with the Utah Jazz. Ever, ever, ever in the history of anything. Everybody knows it. Everybody. They're drafting AJ DeBonsa.
Okay. He had some other choice things to say, but I will say that, first of all, I thought the idea of this, like, he tried to make it like it was a conspiracy theory.
Well, it is, because what he said is not exactly true.
Okay, so where is he using the liberties?
Utah Prep.
Okay.
That's not true. Now, BYU, obviously.
He's a donor.
There's some donations there. Is he the biggest donor?
I don't know.
He's not.
Oh, okay. Crumble?
NutriCost?
NutraFast?
Nutra something? There's some bigger donors and bigger cash funding than what Ryan Smith
Regardless,
gives
he gives.
or donates
I think
to.
he gives. I think we could all say he's one of the top donors, right? And basketball's his thing. So people look at that. Let's say that he did give $10,000 at one point to Utah Prep, which I'm not saying that he did. I'm saying if Doug Gottlieb is saying that, let's say that Utah Prep got some financial support from Ryan Smith along the way somewhere, even if that were the case.
So what?
That's what I'm saying. Like, who's going to look and go,
Who cares?
We're looking in to see this private school that just focuses on basketball.
Danny Ainge found this 8-year-old in Massachusetts when he was a Boston Celtics executive. He thought, that guy is the next great. That is the next LeBron. So I am now going to hatch this plot where I'm going to leave Boston, join the Utah Jazz. I'm going to work with Ryan Smith. We're going to collude to get this kid to the Jazz by having him go to Utah Prep, go to BYU, and then we'll somehow win the lottery and get him number 1 overall.
Yeah, sure.
What
again,
a plan.
But again, the idea that and guess what? If the Jazz take AJ DeBonsa, or if they're number 1 overall pick in the draft, I'm pretty certain, without knowing that Danny Ainge or Justin Zanuck or Austin Ainge would feel like doing this, he has to go. Like, DeBonsa's going first,
no
right?
brainer to me.
Especially to the Jazz. Not for all the things that we just mentioned, except that's a bonus.
He's the perfect fit. He is the best overall player in the draft right now, the most polished, also a high upside. He checks all the boxes right now.
He's the next best player available, and he's number 1 in the draft. Yes.
Red flags. Is Darren Peterson have a chance to be great? Yes. Does he have red flags? Absolutely no. Is Cam Boozer great? Yes. Does he have some athletic limitations that may prevent him from having the same kind of ceiling as an AJ DeBonsa?
Limitations that DeBonsa doesn't have.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. So that's the thing. DeBonsa checks all the boxes more than the other guys. So, yeah, I think he has to be number 1.
We know numerically how this is going to work out.
Sure.
The Jazz will likely not get the first pick. We've seen this play out.
Probably end up 7th.
There's the negativity that I love. I think they're just going to go 7th. All of my
2 years ago they dropped how many spots too, right?
If I were to just take an average of the 1,700 times that I've hit the button to refresh on the mock draft on Tankathon, I bet that the average is about a 4 3/4. They get number 4 3/4 on that like average. So they're probably closer to the 5 pick than they would be even the 4.
I just played in the Atlanta Hawks won the lottery.
No. Okay.
With Milwaukee's pick.
Okay. Here's what we're going to do. Next up, all those things that went through, the tanking and the tank watch is still going on. So John Gonzalez, CBS Sports, puts together a tank ranking, the NBA Power Tank Rankings, as of today. And here's what you've got. So number 5, the least tankable, the least tanking, I guess, on this group, or the least good. They don't have the talent to tank like other teams do in this list. The Bulls at number 5. The Nets, who've been phenomenal all year with the tank. Still only 18 wins on the year, by the way.
Yeah.
The Nets at 18 and 57, they're number 4 on the power tanking list. The Kings, they've been a solid feature on this one too, number 3. Number 2 is the Wizards. They were number 1 last week. And I'll tell you why they are number 2 this week is because they beat the Jazz by 23, and you got yourself the Jazz at number 1. And as it says right here, the Jazz have lost 6 in a row, 10 of their last 11, blown out by 23 at home by the Wizards, and Washington, of course, snapped that 16-game losing streak. So right now, the best losing team in all the league are the Utah Jazz. Now, what's great about this list is if you were to make a power list of garbage franchises, Utah wouldn't be on this list.
No.
A lot of these teams would be. A lot of these teams would stay on that list of bad leadership, bad ownership, poorly run, no future. That's not where the Jazz are. So that's the good news about all that. So from the tanking standpoint, and I do think that flattening the odds, and I think that the latest was because Adam Silver continues to punch the button of we're changing this. It's going to be gone. The payoff for tanking is going to be gone. And I think the way they're going to do it is with their number. They had 3 different types of. They had 3 things that they suggested, right? It was flattening the odds, and I like this one the best. The bottom 10 teams in the league are 1 through 10 in the draft. The order is determined by a flattened odd 8% for everybody. How do you like it? Everybody gets 8. 8% if you're the bottom 10. wiggle room to develop a little bit more?
I think you need to give the teams with the worst record a guy that can help them get better. It's the only way they'll get out of the tank. And the problem with the weighted odds is the Jazz wouldn't have kept tanking if they had gotten a guy that was what they were looking for. They didn't get what they wanted last year, so they had to go do it again. So by doing that, by making it more difficult for these franchises looking for that player or struggling, you just force them to tank more years. The Wizards are doing the same thing. The Wizards they didn't get what they wanted either.
Yeah,
they were one spot lower than the Jazz. They missed Ace Bailey because somebody on their team made a game-winning shot at the end of last season.
Right.
So I don't think there's anything out there that really fixes it other than getting rid of the draft as a whole. I just don't. You can't fix tanking because it's basketball has this issue that other sports don't have, where one player makes all the difference in the world. Even in football, as important as a quarterback is, can you name a team that tanked for one quarterback? I can't think of one. There are teams that needed a quarterback that ended up in that situation.
There are teams that have picked multiple number one quarterbacks too in their history of the franchise. The Browns, the Jets are kind of like this.
And history tells you don't have to have a number one overall pick at quarterback to win it all.
Right.
So, but in the NBA, there's this feeling or belief that in order to win an NBA championship, and that's all that matters, you have to go out and get an elite player, a top 5 player in the league. And the only way to get that is in the lottery. And you know what? Even that doesn't even guarantee it, but that gives you the best shot. I mean, these teams aren't going to be able to acquire somebody in free agency that's going to be the difference maker.
Well, that's hard.
They're not going to be able to pull off a blockbuster trade that's going to give them the difference maker. So
100%.
What other choice do they have?
I think that the interesting thing is, too, is when you talk about flattening the odds for all 10 teams, in any given draft, let's average out the last 10 years. How many guys did you look at and go, that's a sure thing right there? How many per draft? Maybe, I bet the average is probably 3.5 that they go, that guy's I say a sure thing is in like a guy who's going to be an eventual all-star where they could put the chips down at that point. Cooper Flagg is this type. A lot of the draft class from last year, I think people look at AJ DeBonta that exact same way. He is generational. He will change your franchise. He will be good for a long time. He will make an impact immediately as well. All those things, because you'll have guys who could be a sure thing, but it might not be this year.
Well, the NBA draft in 2024. Can you even remember who the number one pick was?
Was it Rizashea?
It was. You were correct. So Rizashea, Sarr, Shepard, Castle,
Sarr was an excellent.
Ron Holland,
okay, and
Tijon Salon.
Who do we talk about the most?
Donovan
in that group?
Clingan.
Clingan, poor guy.
Zach Edey.
I thought he was still on UConn's team this year. I really did. When they got to the tournament.
Donovan Clingan.
Wasn't that the team he played for in college?
Oh yeah.
I was like,
no, you're right.
I was like, I thought he went to the NBA.
And Castle won a national championship at UConn.
So, but Castle ended up being probably the guy we talk about the most of that list we just went through.
Yeah, and he's a role player for the Spurs.
Yes,
he was the rookie of the year out of that class.
Again,
not an all-star level player.
But on this year's, you probably have. So it's probably less.
That's an entire draft where there was nobody in that draft that's going to push you. That's a draft where nobody was trying to tank on purpose. The Hawks accidentally won the draft. They had the worst possible odds, and they won it, and nobody cared. Nobody cared. The Jazz fell a couple spots, ended up with Cody Williams. You could argue they should have taken Modest Bazelis, but you're starting to see signs from Cody Williams that make you think, you know what, maybe they got it all.
Okay, what if you do flattened odds for the 5 worst? Does that make it a little bit better? Because
that's a good question.
Because what their idea is to go.
But then you have a fight to get in the 5,
right? Which we're kind of watching.
What do those teams have to do to get in the 5? They have to tank,
right? What are the Jazz at right now?
Solving the problem.
Are the Jazz at 5?
The Jazz are at number 5.
Are they the 5th worst right now?
They're the 5th worst record in the league.
I mean, and they're kind of busting.
And they need to drop just one more to guarantee they keep the pick.
But
it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that but that's in a year that they're busting their butt to not be above number 5 or below, whatever you want to think of it. So 5 would be hard. You'd still have teams tanking the heck out of it to be one of those with the flattened odds, but the better odds, 1 through 5. Do you like the idea too? Because what they're doing now is they want to add teams 7 through not just 10 or how many are in the
they want to
lottery now?
The lottery.
Yeah, they want to expand it to the top 7 seeds in both conferences. So all the play-in teams, every play-in team, 7 through 10, both conferences.
Yeah.
What do you think of that thought? That even if you play your butt off, you could still get into the lottery in some way.
A 22-team lottery. They're proposing an 18-team and a 22-team lottery.
The 22 one is crazy.
Scenarios.
The 22 one is
7 through 15 in both conferences.
Yes. So in the NBA,
and the teams that lose in the first round of the playoffs.
right? There are only 8 teams not in the lottery. So in that system, and I don't hate it. I don't hate that.
Yeah, that's the other thing they would do, which would help the issue we talked about earlier with
The records
teams,
over 2 years thing.
Teams trying to get out of the lottery and being stuck. It's a problem. The Hornets have been stuck in the lottery forever. The Wizards have been stuck in the lottery forever.
The Jazz the Jazz between these two last years would have a great.
Right now,
they'd have a great shot.
Yeah, but right now the Jazz are kind of stuck in the lottery, right?
Yes.
What happens if they whiff this year? What do they do? I mean, obviously they decided we're done with it, but not every team has that luxury. The Wizards have decided they're done with it, but they went out and got Anthony Davis and Trae Young.
He's so good.
I don't know if they make the playoffs with that roster.
He's so good, man.
They might be right back in the lottery again next year in a year where there isn't anybody to draft.
Trae Young's just fun to watch. Just electric. I think they got themselves a superstar in the making. I love how they sold the ranch for everybody. Yeah, I think that building the statue of him sitting on the bench in his street clothes is maybe the funniest meme I've ever seen.
Anthony Street Clothes Davis.
Street clothes.
Thanks, Charles Barkley.
We're gonna we'll take a break. All I'm saying is that we only have to do this a little bit more. We only have to we got to watch this thing go through and play it out. And regardless, you're going to have a Jazz team that's actually putting the chips in the pot next year.
Love it.
Okay? So there you go. All right. Let's take a break. We'll come back. When we do return, we've got ourselves some, our first round of Jazz tickets to give away. It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday, so stay tuned. We'll give out that phone number when it's time for you to get that pair of tickets to see the Jazz and the Nuggets coming up tomorrow at Delta Center. We'll take that break. We'll come back. More to go. 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, I'm Josh Spiegel, host of the podcast Lunatic in the Newsroom. If you enjoy journalism that drifts into mild panic, wild overthinking, and a guaranteed nervous breakdown, Lunatic in the Newsroom is for you. It's news like you've never heard before. The only newsroom with a panic button. You'll laugh, you'll cry, and gasp in horror as the show spirals completely out of control. It's not just news, it's emotionally unstable. Lunatic in the Newsroom. Listen today.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Here's the deal. It's that time of the week for us to be able to give away some tickets to the Utah Jazz versus the Denver Nuggets. So let's do it right now. Let's fire it up. It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday right here on your radio home of the Utah Jazz. It is 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Let's do it.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, and your chance to win tickets is right now.
Call this number now.
Call this number now.
Be caller number 12 at 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-ZONE. And you'll be on your way to Delta Center to see the Utah Jazz.
He fires the three. He hits. Oh, don't do me like that.
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Give us a call right now, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE, 801-575-9663. You get yourself a pair of tickets to see the Jazz and the Nuggets tomorrow night at Delta Center. There you go. We just, I'm not going to make you play the Breaking News Center because who cares that much, except for Annapolis. But this is, I think, kind of funny. Italy is not going to the World Cup for the third time in a row. They just got eliminated from the qualifier.
By Bosnia-Herzegovina.
She's great. Yeah. Bosnia-Herzegovina, second time in the history of their country they're going. So good for them. Italy, pack it up, man. I mean, they must fire every coach like every other cycle just because they haven't been very good for a while. But man, remember who's the guy with the dreads from Italy in the '94 World Cup? The dude, Baggio, Roberto Baggio. Hey, Baggio. So it's hearts breaking across all of Italy today with that one. All right, Utah State has a new head coach. And, of course, the Ben Jacobson news coming down early yesterday morning and being made official with his brand new press conference today. They reach an agreement with him. They've made the hire. This is a guy who has a track record of success, and he was at Northern Iowa for 20 seasons. 20 seasons.
25 total.
25 total is between assistant but the head for 20 years. Almost 400 wins, in his time there as the head coach. This guy comes with a lot of experience, which is the first thing that he started talking about in that press conference, and we'll get to it in a second. But I know we went over this, but I was actually pretty shocked because it just seemed like, man, that's a great hire. Plus, they're looking at Cam Walker that's a tough thing. You come in, you're a recent hire as the athletic director. The athletic director seat has been a weird position for the last couple of years at Utah State. And yet they've been able to make hires that have not just done well, they just seem to keep getting better. And in the case of Ben Jacobson, this is a guy who has the pedigree. He's had the history. He's been really good for a long time. But I saw a lot of people going at it. A lot of Aggie fans were not impressed by it. I don't know what they were expecting.
What do they want?
That's what I'm asking. What do you think that what do you want? And who is it that you think that you deserve? Because the fake Mad Dog Madsen news was never going to happen. And also, I don't know why that would be a great choice either necessarily. I don't know.
I think it would be a good hire. I just don't know that it's better than this one.
Well, I also don't think he would want to be there for a long, long time. And part of what you're looking for is somebody who would want to be there for a long, long time.
And this feels like maybe Jacobson could be here for at least 3 to 5 years. I don't know. You never know. But this is somebody who comes here at age 55 who has been a mid-major head coach for a long, long time. So if there were opportunities or that was his drive and motivation to go to the Power 4 level, that would have happened by now. I think he finds a situation here that's kind of the right fit for him. This is somebody who's from North Dakota who has been in that situation in Iowa for 2 decades now. And there's probably some comfort level in that level of play or in a place like that. And Logan kind of checks that box where it feels like a small town, but you're close to a major metropolitan area, and you're making a move to a big league, and you got the resources, and you got the support, and you got a filled arena, passionate fans, a great student section. You have everything you want in college basketball, yet you're still a little bit out of the spotlight. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And just enough that you have enough spotlight that you have access to getting to the NCAA tournament, to going on a run, but you don't have a magnifying glass on you all the time, like, say, for instance, Kevin Young at BYU, right? I mean, people right now are, like, questioning Kevin Young's ability to build rosters right now. And fair or not, like, because of there was such a massive amount of expectations and focus and exposure for the program that can be overwhelming for some if you're not okay with that. Does Ben Jacobson go to Utah State and feel like this is a place where I can kind of have that kind of, not isolation, but, not as much focus and attention, but still have a lot of the resources that I haven't had at Northern Iowa to be able to be successful? Could he be the coach that finally takes Utah State to the Sweet 16? They got really close this year. I think this year's Utah State team, top 3 all-time probably. They were that good. And nobody pushed Arizona harder before they got to the Final Four. Not Purdue, not anybody else that Arizona played. Utah State pushed them harder than anybody did in this tournament. So Utah State's close. Now the question is going to be, what kind of players does he bring into the roster? How many of the guys on the roster currently can he retain? They had a really nice freshman class. Do those guys end up going with Calhoun to Cincinnati, or do they decide, you know what, we fell in love with this place while we're here? They're bringing in this guy. I like this guy. I want to stay here.
Have people already gone in, by the way, to the transfer portal?
Carson Templin is in the portal. Right? There was a freshman that entered the portal who was expected to be really good. He redshirted this year. I haven't heard of anything else at this moment, but the portal's not even open yet anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
so
the anticipation
there's still time to do that. And maybe some of the guys were waiting until they did hire somebody, and now they have that information. And maybe in the next 24 to 48 hours, once meetings take place, you may see some more of that filter out. But I haven't heard Mason Falsle's name in the transfer portal. By the way, he did go into the transfer portal before Calhoun was hired, if you remember that.
Yeah.
After Danny Sprinkle left, Mason Falsle was in the transfer portal, and who could blame him? And that doesn't mean if you're in the transfer portal, you can't come back.
Sure.
And it worked out for him and the Aggies.
It'll be interesting to see if there's an exodus of some kind. There is some movement always
is.
But it'll be
Maybe there's somebody from Northern Iowa that he brings with him.
How about this? Let's take a listen. The experience part is something that he talked about right off the bat and how much that experience is going to help him here in Logan.
To be able to take on this challenge with you guys and the way in which you've done it already. We were the next game after your game with Villanova, and we were standing right there when you guys came off that floor. And the excitement. And, of course, after you win an NCAA tournament game, right, there's going to be a little bit of excitement. You're going to be bouncing around a little bit, but you could feel the camaraderie, right, and feel the excitement. And I wanted to be part of that.
Love it. Love that idea that, one, he was already there watching some of these games. Does that mean they were in conversations, or you just happened to be that game? I mean, did he pull a Will Wade? And
I doubt it.
He was already at a.
I mean, it wasn't like it was a huge secret that Calhoun was leaving once the Cincinnati job came open. As soon as it came up, and we all looked at it like Leonardo DiCaprio in that meme. Aha!
Right.
Yeah, I
Come
see
on
it.
now.
Cincinnati, that makes too much sense. That's going to happen.
But also,
sure enough, it happened.
We look and we go, hold on a minute. He bought that house in January.
Will Wade, you stinker.
All right.
So I doubt it, but it's funny. He's here now.
And also, who cares?
Story.
At this point, who cares? You got your guy. Here's what Ben Jacobson said at the press conference today about not just bringing the Aggies some wins, but getting them to that Sweet 16, which is the next level for the Aggies.
And I'm excited about the challenge ahead of us with the Pac-12. And I'll challenge the guys when I get to that point. One of those things I talked about was, okay, that first weekend in the NCAA tournament, that's special. But there's a next weekend, and there's a next weekend after that. And what does that feel like? The excitement of that, with the new league and with our leadership and with this group. What does that next weekend look like and feel like? Fortunate to have been there as a head coach and want to do that together.
He went to Sweet 16. That was the highest that he got with UNI?
Yep. 1 year they made it Sweet 16. He has 4 tournament wins.
Yeah.
At Northern Iowa.
I think that's the part where you go, all right, this is a fit. Again, think about the guessing.
They had the worst facilities.
Oh, yeah. Think about the guessing that they had to do over there. I say guessing. Danny Sprinkle coming from Montana State. I don't know how good the Bobcats have been historically. I think Montana State always kind of lives in the shadow a little bit of Montana.
Oh, 100%. And they had never been really great, but Sprinkle had really had a lot of success there with them and made the NCAA tournament.
So then you look and you say, okay, look at all the other coaches that came in. None of them have had the type of success that they didn't have the experience that Ben Jacobson has. So that in itself, shouldn't people look at that and go, okay, they're getting the most experienced guy that they've gotten in a long time. You can't guarantee somebody's going to stay here for a long, long time, but I would imagine with the resources that he's going to have here compared to what he had at Northern Illinois or Northern Iowa, yeah. I think he's going to be good.
That was the draw. That's what brought him here. It's just too good of an opportunity for him to pass up. It has all the things that he wants, but it has more.
Got to figure out how to make money on this coaching gig. It's just too good. It's just too good of an idea. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. We have more to go around the corner. And I've got a Would You Rather that you're going to want to play along with. Mitch Harper, our BYU insider for KSLSports.com, is going to join us coming up at the 4 o'clock hour. And then we're also going to get Jared Weiss on, who covers the NBA for The Athletic, in the 5 o'clock hour. So we got guests all across the board, and we're going to be talking all sorts of fun the rest of the day. So stick with us, 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.
Every day, the world gets a little weirder and a lot more awesome. Cool Stuff Daily takes a look at everything from mining in space to the latest in the fight against cancer to how AI is, basically changing everything. It's all the cool stuff you didn't know you needed to know. Join us for Cool Stuff Daily as we take a quick look at science, tech, and the wait, what stories that make you sound way smarter at dinner. Subscribe to Cool Stuff Daily now, because the future's happening fast, and it's way too fun to miss.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Listen, everybody! Real life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 VKSL Sports Zone. We like giving stuff away at this station. We'll be giving away some jazz tickets in the next hour. You don't want to miss that. But every Wednesday, that's tomorrow, we love to give away stuff. And it changes every week. Sometimes it's tickets to sporting events. Sometimes it's tickets to concerts. This week, how about this one? Tomorrow, all the shows, all day long, tickets to Weezer, The Shins, Silver Sun Pickups, all at the Maverick Center coming September 15th.
Welcome back to 2005.
Nice set list. Don't act like you and I both won't
I'd be there.
Think about it.
I'd love to hear that concert.
So the pre-sale starts on tickets tomorrow. Or rather, I guess it starts on the 2nd. So on Thursday, they'll start, but you can win them tomorrow. So there you go. All day tomorrow, win ticket Wednesday. In the meantime, JJ, I've got a would you rather. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this is a big dilemma. And then sometimes you're like, easy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, that's a stupid one. Jeez, I guess I didn't do a very good job. Napolis, you participate in this one. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Jazz get the number 1 overall pick in the lottery. Or the Mammoth get on a heater and make it to the Stanley Cup final.
The final?
I'm not saying they win the Stanley Cup.
Jazz win the lottery.
You're a bad person, okay?
No. I think the Mammoth are poised for multiple runs. So if they came up short this year, it's expected. They can't skip steps. They're just lucky to get into the Stanley Cup.
You're also
final.
describing what the lottery is like.
The Jazz have never won the lottery in 50 years. The Jazz are due. The Jazz have nothing but heartache and pain from these lotteries.
Napolis?
Yeah, I think I'm taking the
lottery win
pick.
Let's take the lottery win. You never have to worry about the lottery again, and then the Mammoth can focus on winning the Cup for the next decade with all the players they have.
Coming up next, an awkward conversation with Bear Tourney and his thoughts on JJ and Alex Napolis's. No, but I am going to tell him on Friday. I'm telling on you.
Even Bear's like, let's go get AJ.
Let's get AJ to Benson.
We need AJ to win game.
He's a good guy. All right. I am actually shocked because a Stanley Cup final appearance. So what that means is here's why I'm going to make the pitch for me on going to the final, the Stanley Cup final. Because I think if they go 1 through 4, the Jazz, I think next year they're still going to be good. I think they're going to still try to make some nice runs over that. Just winning the
difference between being good and winning championships is what we're talking about.
Do you think that AJ DeBonsa is that difference of winning a championship?
With that group, yes.
More so than getting Cam Boozer?
Yes.
But you make it sound like it's a guarantee. That's what I think's weird. I don't know if that's going to be the case. But let me make the case for this. What we're talking about is getting a nice first-round win. And then I think that they would have to, in the second round, I think that's when they would face off against, presumably, the Colorado Avalanche.
Eventually, in the conference final,
They would probably be in the Western Conference final against them. See?
Correct.
You're not just winning. You're not just winning to go on to the Stanley Cup final.
I know.
You beat the Avs to do it.
I know.
You've grown up before everybody's eyes.
You have 10 years to beat the Avs.
All right.
You only have one opportunity. One shot, like Eminem said.
Thanks, Menem.
You only have one shot to get AJ DeBonsa.
I just think that I'm fascinated by the whole thing. I also have zero. We've done this enough. We have zero expectation for the Mammoth doing like going deep in the playoffs because we've been told all the way along the way that this is kind of the next step.
Right.
And they're like right exactly on where people who are the quote-unquote experts said, I bet they'll be good enough to be a wild card team next year. Now, part of that was because everybody saw the writing on the wall with the Avs and the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think everybody saw the Wild also being like a potential 100. They're going to have 3 100 if they haven't gotten it already.
Yeah, the Wild are only 6 points short. Dallas and Colorado are already there.
They're going to have 3 teams that are over the 100-point mark in this division.
And who thought Anaheim would be number 1 in the Pacific?
How much clearer are they from the
4 points?
They're
the Kraken? 4 points ahead of the Oilers.
Oh, the Oilers. That's right. The Oilers have been on a little bit of heater too.
They've won 3 in a row.
Yeah,
and the
Started
Ducks
it right
are
here.
still after losing 2 straight, 4 points ahead of the Oilers.
That's cool. That's good for them. They've been good, and they beat the Mammoth pretty handily.
Yeah,
when they came through here most recently. So now that was the second I have back-to-back. However, all I'm saying is that the road to get to the Stanley Cup final would be such a fun ride. Now, for the long-term success of a program, because you go to a Stanley Cup final, everything in the NHL, we've seen it, could reset immediately. Even with the same exact roster, you could turn into the Sabres last year, who became a different Sabres team this year, off of just a couple of moves.
Yep.
Or you could be like the Predators, who have underperformed the last 2 seasons. They've had a better go this year, but last year they ended the season in the 60s, points-wise, when we thought they would be a division favorite. So the NHL does not, even with all the guys coming back, it's not a guarantee. Ask Edmonton having 2 of the best players in the world does for you. Not much. Gets you to the Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final, but you don't win it.
Yep.
And this year, I think people look at them and go, oh, they're worse. And Draisaitl's hurt. And McDavid might be pissed at the team. I don't know. So all those things can change. I'm just saying that, but man, a lottery win. The cool thing about that is that
the Jazz are due.
They'd win the lottery, and then you have the anticipation of the lottery, already knowing what's likely going to be going on. But you're going to be reading all the clippings about this kid and that kid and what they do. And I don't know, I actually kind of like this guy. And the GM's lying to us through the media.
And Danny Ainge puts it out there. Maybe we are interested in Darren Peterson.
Yeah, maybe and then you just get surprised.
It would be great to have Cam Boozer be another Boozer in Utah.
I'm telling you, those kinds of things are said, and we'll get lied to. We'll be told one thing, and they'll do another, and I'm okay with it. But I think the anticipation, it'll be a full summer of you win the lottery, you get to the lottery itself, then you start getting excited. Summer League becomes different when you have a number 1 overall pick, I assume, because we've never seen it here.
Right.
But we've seen really, really good players come in. I was actually thinking about the other day because Ben brought up, I think it was you who went to that Summer League press conference when Boyan and Mike and
Mike Conley
were signed, and they had their jerseys there.
Yeah.
And Boyan showed up at the press conference with a plum suit on. A plum-colored suit on, these fancy dress shoes with no socks on, and he had definitely not slept from the night before.
And he may have had some.
He may have not passed if he was driving to the press conference room, he would have been pulled over.
Correct.
But that's the kind of Boyan that I liked.
He would have pulled a Tiger Woods on the way to that press conference.
Oh my
Good thing
gosh!
he didn't.
I read the full detail report on Tiger. I'll have to tell it to you like it's a Secret Housewives of Utah thing or something. Is that what it is? Secret Housewives? No, just Housewives. No, Secret Mormon Moms. My Secret Mormon Wedding.
Mom talk. Secret Mormon Wedding.
My Secret Mormon Wedding. I don't know where that came up. I don't know where that came from.
How many reality TV show premises are you mixing into one?
I don't know. I can't. Listen, all I know is I have the scoop. Okay. All right. Mitch Harper is going to join us next. BYU Insider for KSLSports.com. Next hour, we're going to be giving away Jazz tickets as well. Do you want to keep it dialed in? 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Do you love rom-coms? Do you wish you could talk about Christmas movies year-round? Then we have the perfect podcast for you, Hallmarkies Podcast. Throughout the year, we cover all things romance, holiday, and Hallmark, including recaps of every Hallmark show, like When Calls the Heart and The Way Home. You can also get loads of bonus content covering shows like Bridgerton, Sweet Magnolias, and Just Like That. We are an all-female group of friends who are passionate for these shows and movies and give our honest opinions as well as gush over what we love so much. But that's not all. Every Monday, there are interviews with all your favorite actors, writers, directors, and more. Check out Hallmarkies Podcast on all your podcast providers and on YouTube. That's Hallmarkies Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car is gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply. Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, you're welcome. A little extended Kurt Cobain.
KSL Rock. 97.5. The Rock.
I do love when people, they go, oh, so you're a DJ? And I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. The 97.5 DJs are going to sit here. I'm always like, that's funny. Okay. I don't hate it. I just think it's funny. I've never once
taking your call. What music do you want to hear? What?
But we do hand out tickets all the time. And we do.
Yes, we do.
To concerts. So we're right there. All right. Halfway to the arrow, man. Come on. All right, here's what we got. It's that time of the show for us to be able to fire this thing up, get it going. Mitch Harper, our BYU insider for KSLSports.com, going to join us right now. Let's get going. Top of the hour. Let's do it.
It's time to get the inside info on BYU with Cougar insider Mitch Harper of KSLSports.com on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Look at that, 4:06 p.m. I just got the email. AJ DeBonsa named to the 2026 John Wooden Award All-American team, announced by the Los Angeles Athletic Club, one of the many feathers in the cap for a phenomenal freshman season for the phenom that is AJ DeBonsa, joining us on the program right now, Mitch Harper. Mitch, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? Happy to be on as always.
AJ just keeps racking up the All-American awards. I would assume that he'll get, hey, now.
We're not done rocking.
I told you we were going to rock out today, man. So
that smells like teen spirit.
All the awards keep filing in for this young man. And it's been interesting because I don't know how, Mitch, but he actually overperformed to the expectations that were already monumental.
He did, and he was excellent this season, and it's just a shame that BYU's not preparing for, a Final Four or made that deep run that everyone was hoping and believing this team was capable of. But he was excellent. And, you'll see tonight a guy like Bruce Branch III, who is going to try to take on the mantle as being next in line to be potentially a one-and-done guy. Obviously, AJ hasn't formally announced, but to me, it makes all the sense in the world to go forward and get that contract rolling and go to the NBA and get that thing going, because what's waiting for you at BYU is just no whistle and no space in the Big 12 and more physical play. And you're almost going to get poked at more in terms of your game where, well, you didn't do this in your freshman year. The NBA loves potential, and AJ already had a ton of potential even when he was a 14-year-old, and he only built off that and was impressive. And I think that's a real big feather in the cap for Kevin Young that NBA teams will probably love about, guys going to BYU, is that you might be a heralded guy, but you'll get better at BYU. And AJ did get better this year. It's just the entire team did not reach the expectations and thoughts of what many believe they were capable of. And that's going to be the challenge for Kevin Young. But if you're a one-and-done prospect, potentially looking at BYU, I think AJ is going to do a world of good for BYU going forward. And you saw that with them getting Bruce Branch, like I said, will be in action tonight on the McDonald's All-American game, and he might be one of the top guys in this game tonight.
Bruce Branch is a 5-star guy. He has the potential to be a one-and-done lottery pick, just like AJ, just like Yegor Demon. What does the Cougars need to do to surround Bruce Branch with guys, or what do they need to put together in order to help Bruce Branch reach his potential and that team reach potential next year with a 5-star guy? Because BYU is getting these guys. If they want to keep getting them, feels like they've got to take things to another level when it comes to team success.
For sure. And I think, more shooters, and Bruce Branch, I think, is a better three-point shooter than AJ was. And Branch is an excellent, elite catch-and-shoot prospect. I mean, he's not like AJ where he's going to be living in the mid-range game and just no matter what you try to do defensively, still get to a spot. That's not necessarily Bruce Branch, but excellent three-point shooter, catch-and-shoot in particular. So that half-a-second decision that Kevin Young loves with players, Bruce Branch is right in the wheelhouse of guys that have a lot of success with Kevin Young. Think of like a Devin Booker, that type of shooting ability, and that's what Bruce Branch is. And you want more shooters on this team, but I think also the size has to improve for BYU's front court too, because, Keba Keita was, he took a step back offensively this past season, and Abdullah Bidu Ahmed, he was almost looked when he had joined the team mid-season as a missing piece that maybe could put them over the hump, and that just didn't materialize at all. It seemed like, it was a whirlwind for him to try to get up to speed, with the team. You naturally thought, he's a G League guy. He's going to quickly adapt, but that wasn't the case. So I think that front court needs a big overhaul, and then you pair it up with shooting as well. And, probably every team needs size and shooting ability, but for BYU, start with shooting and then try to identify some bigs that can maybe be more of an offensive threat too, along with, the specialties of, rim protection, which they did have with Keita and to a lesser extent Bidu Ahmed, but you need more offensive punch, I think, from that front court going forward for next year's team.
You saw these guys we had that discussion yesterday, just like, man, if who's left in the NCAA tournament, you're like, oh, teams that just have massive size across the board, and really where it matters, and just big teams were a problem for BYU, even with 11-seeded Texas. And it's just like, hey, if you're going to spend all that money, let's start working on those stars and the height too. Let's get all the biggest people. If you're a BYU fan, that's probably what they're hoping for, is that they can get that size into BYU, and Kevin Young can find that next level. When you look at the rest of the teams that are in the tournament, Iowa State came up short, obviously. The final Big 12 team that's still hanging around, and Houston came up short, obviously, too. I was pretty shocked by that result, but it's the NCAA tournament. Things can happen. But Arizona has just been absolutely flawless, it seems like, just flying through the tournament. They're so good. They just grind everybody down. When you look at who's left of the Final Four, who's your odds-on favorite to win that national championship?
I would go with Arizona. This whole coaching search cloud of, North Carolina maybe looking at Tommy Lloyd. Is it Billy Donovan? Could that be a distraction? He was asked about that today, and he said he's focused. And, I don't think that's going to derail this Arizona team that just looks like an absolute machine. And going back to the size too, BYU did an excellent job of taking away the size of Arizona in both of the meetings that they had against the Wildcats in the regular season. Arizona just made them pay from the three-point shooting ability in Tucson, and then Jaden Bradley and Braden Burns were brilliant in Provo. But that's what I think made the outcome in the NCAA tournament for BYU so surprising against Texas was BYU had real success against Krivas and Toby Awaka, taking them away out of the game, and that just didn't show up against Texas, who even had a bigger five in Matas in that game. But, yeah, I think Arizona's the team to beat. I feel like that the winner of that Arizona-Michigan game is going to win it all. And, UConn is, a really tough out as well. I mean, this is a really good Final Four with great blend of NBA talent and elite size. So I think it's an outstanding Final Four. And, for programs like BYU, you had 3 games against these 4 teams. You went up against UConn, had it down to the wire, big hole like many BYU games, stormed back and were in the mix right there. And then against Arizona, you were in the mix in both of those games. So, BYU was pretty competitive. And again, I think that's where the frustration for BYU is that they feel it every single day, night in, night out in the Big 12, how good this league is. And I still believe it was a really good league, especially based on the non-conference portion of the season. Like, to your point, the Houston game was a strange outcome against Illinois. But, BYU was battle-tested. They just I think there's been some valuable lessons that have been learned for Kevin Young as he continues to adjust his line of thought from NBA to college basketball. And now it's just the challenge of trying to, break through and make a deeper run again. He's already done it. I mean, Kevin Young's already got 2 wins in the NCAA tournament under his belt. It's not like a guy that hasn't had success. It's just when you got a generational guy like AJ, you wanted to capitalize, but that didn't happen. And I think, though, long term, and the way that the schedule that they played, which was a top 15 schedule this past season, and the quality of teams that they face and who got to the Final Four, them having 3 games against these teams, I think it's a real good barometer of maybe a good sense of, what is it going to take to get it over the hump and make a deeper run for BYU. But will be fun basketball to watch this upcoming weekend.
Final week of spring football for the BYU Cougars. What's some storylines that, or maybe just your overall thoughts on spring and what you learned about the Cougars over this month?
Bear Bachmeier could be the best quarterback in the Big 12. I think the Bear is going to be really good this season. He has to be, and I think that's going to be critical. But I think there is a real optimism and hope coming out of spring in this final week that Bear could be the best in the league. And I think he's taken a really big jump. And, the options now in the offense where he's got 3 plays thrown at him in every snap, I think that's big. I mean, and last year there felt like there was still a little bit of guardrails for Bear, even though they knew that he knew the offense much better than a typical true freshman, considering how late he arrived last, late May, early June on campus. But I think that, he takes a bigger step this year. And what's been impressive, I think, with Bear is he's still kind of just the down-to-earth guy. It doesn't seem like the fame, the spotlight is getting to him. And I think that's always noteworthy in this NIL environment. Where does that change a person? How does that impact the locker room, the dynamic? Because we hear so much about that with BYU's program. Do they still have a good locker room? And I think Bear is pretty grounded to where, like, even someone like Paki Finau, a new player who just joined in January, he told me, I want to block for that guy and protect him at all costs because he's an absolute leader. And so I just think that sort of personality is huge at the quarterback position. And you also got a humble guy in LJ Martin too, who's, emerged as a leader. I mean, he was that last year, but he's really kind of confident and vocal more than he's ever been in his BYU career. And obviously he's still working his way back from the off-season surgery, and he'll be ready to go for the fall. But I think Bear is the biggest storyline to all of this. And I think there's this growing sense that he's really trending up in his ability, and he could maybe be the best quarterback potentially in the Big 12. And I think that's going to be required, I think, for BYU to get over the hump, because Texas Tech's still going to be an absolute beast that you don't want to deal with, and their schedule is really light. And I think that's going to show up. I know that the Big 12, there's always a game or two that we don't expect that's going to be tough, ends up being much more difficult than we think. But I feel like Texas Tech's schedule is so light that BYU might have to be perfect, as close to perfect as possible to keep up pace with them. And you got to have a brilliant quarterback to do that. And I think Bear could be that guy. And I think there's a lot of optimism in this final week of spring of what Bear Bachmeier's ability and the step he's going to take in his second year as a sophomore.
I think the quarterback position is always fun. I bet the coaches, and Kalani's one of these guys too, probably too, that they love that the conversation that they're having about quarterback this time of year, and frankly all the way through summer, is how about that battle for QB2? Like they don't have to worry about that number one guy.
Coaches love to answer that question.
So like, these guys are battling out there. And I started thinking about the quarterback situation at BYU, and I'm wondering what the timeline looks like over the next 2 or 3 years for BYU, and where Ryder Lyons fits into all this, and where Bear's potential fits into all this. What's an ideal scenario, do you think, to be able to get max out of Bear and max out of your 5-star, or maybe he was turned into a 4-star, whatever it is now, the multi-star guy who's much anticipated in Ryder Lions?
Well, I asked Aaron Roderick a while back about that. Like, what is the timeline that they've told Ryder Lions about all this? Because no one wants to wait. They always want to compete, and he just basically put it at the cream will always rise to the top. And I think that's where this is an important year for Bear. I think he senses that because so much commitment and resources were put to Ryder Lions. They were recruiting him from 8th grade on. That's been a multi-year deal. And same with Bear Bachmeier. They recruited him quite a bit until he went off the board early to Stanford, and they quickly pursued him in the portal, and he had a brilliant freshman season as a 12-win guy and did a fantastic job last season, was Big 12 freshman of the year on the offensive side. But, if there was a step back, and again, I don't think that's the case. I think Bear's going to be outstanding this year. But if there was a dip in production, well, it's pretty clear then you'd open it up, and the path is then cleared for Ryder to step right in. Or, if Bear takes that big jump, and I think he's going to, I think he's going to be really good this year. You create a situation where BYU has done a great job with, return missionaries. That's the one. There's many programs that have worked with return missionaries, but BYU, just because of the sheer volume, the way that they treat and have, as Kalani would say, the science. Look at the science of how we do it, or look at the scientists. They're so accustomed to working high-level athletes back from a mission, and they did a great job with Jaron Hall. And that was before this strength staff. This one, I think, is even better in the strength and conditioning side of things. And, that's a common theme that a lot of recruits talk about with BYU since Colby Clausen and Dr. Skylar Main, how impressed they've been with this strength and conditioning staff and the way that they go about their operation and their business, to where he comes back from a mission. The thought would be still 2027 is what he has laid out as his timeline to matriculate into the program. Be part of the program. Maybe he's the clear-cut number 2, but in a perfect world, he's redshirting. I think, again, it's just Kalani's always said that he wants to have a quarterback factory, and he tells quarterbacks that can work here at BYU. It's worked in the past, and even though there's a transfer portal now, it can still work, and it worked for Jaron Hall. His patience paid off in getting him drafted as an NFL pick. Obviously, he would like to have been higher, but he was a pick, and he had an opportunity. He started in games in the National Football League. If he could have just stayed healthy, it could have been a different story for Jaron. So I think that, BYU feels really good about its quarterbacks, and no matter who's the QB1, they're optimistic that it's always going to be a top-level guy. And really, you look at the pipeline, how it's getting built out with Bear Bachmeier, Ryder Lions, Enoch Watson, probably your QB3 to right now in the program, but he's a young freshman. He's had signs of being really good. I think he's got a big arm and he's got some promising future ahead. Once coached by Max Hall and Ty Detmer in Arizona. And you got Emerson Geilman from Bountiful High School. They love what the future of the quarterback position is at BYU right now, and of course the present with Bear Bachmeier leading the way. So I think they've got the peace of mind that no matter what happens at that spot, they're always going to have talent because they've kind of built up that position with the resources and the commitments that they've landed.
Every year in the transfer portal era, it seems BYU's been able to go out and get an impact defensive player in the portal who's made a difference. Obviously, Jack Kelly's the latest success story. Can Cade Uluwave be that next big success story on BYU's defense out of the transfer portal?
I think so, and they have had some really big recent success with the portal at that spot, and it's maybe to a lesser extent last year with Keanu Tanavasa, but it was a splash with the huge, it's crossing rivalry lines in this state. Cade Uluwave is going to be, he's plug and play, instant, step right in, and he's going to be, I think, expected to be a star and expected to be an all Big 12 guy. And I think that's going to be the expectation for him. And, it's been interesting, too. I was just talking just moments ago with BYU's 2027 commit, Titan DeYoung, who's also from Mountain Ridge High School. Yep. Cade Uluwave was once there at Mountain Ridge, and, back in January when DeYoung was really kind of heating up his recruitment with BYU, he mentioned how, Cade Uluwave was talking to him and just saying, like, you got to be at BYU. Kelly Thing is outstanding, just perfect fit. I mean, so, again, those sort of things I think just kind of resonate because we hear so much from coaches complaining about need guardrails. Players are leaving at first turn possible. Guys aren't bought in. First sign of adversity, they want to leave. BYU's just kind of finding guys that really immerse themselves. And look, Cato Wavi's only got 1 year. This is it. This is the end of the road in his college career, and he's got to go make it even bigger potentially in the NFL. But they really bought in. And, talk with Cato Wave in spring ball, he just feels like he can play fast in this defense. He likes the scheme. He's going to be that inside linebacker in this defensive scheme under Kelly Papinga, and he likes the way that he fits. And I mean, that's why he's been at Cal, and he's been an absolute star in college football. And, he picks BYU over Michigan and Texas and some bluest of blue blood programs. He picked BYU, and he felt like part of it was trying to, feel like he was back at home. I think that kind of was a big pull for him because he's got strong family connections to Utah County and BYU, and he wanted to finish it off in Provo. And I think that, but the scheme, he really likes, and I think that he feels like he can step right in and be that impact player that Kelly was. And I think BYU feels like they've got a lot of guys, though, that can generate a pass rush with that outside backer, edge rusher type of players. Hunter Clegg's in that mix. Nusi Taumoi-Peau. Of course, Isaiah Glasker as a linebacker. And they feel really good about, the personnel they've got there. And then, even returning home from a mission recently, DeVoe Tuataga, who was a heralded guy in the state, former 4-star player. He's back from a mission. So quietly, BYU and a lot of these names outside of Uluwave, they're underclassmen. So if they do hit now, and BYU's ability to retain guys, you could really build up something for not only this year, but the years to come. So, Kelly Papinga's in a really good spot with his personnel. Maximizing Uluwave will be important for the top end success of this team in 2026. But BYU feels that they got more options than just Uluwave in terms of replacing Jack Kelly, because I think he's going to be a future NFL guy.
Mitch Harper. Mitch, thanks for joining us as usual. Have you guys been able to watch any kind of live anything during the spring for the media? Did they open up anything for you guys to be able to watch some legitimate back and forth?
We've had 4 media observations, 2 of which had the team 150 yards away, and even with binoculars, I couldn't see a thing. Then the 2 that were kind of customary, like what we've grown accustomed to in years past, where I got a full 20, 25 minutes. Yeah. To really break it down. I saw some good stuff in those.
Guys turning over some tires. The good stuff.
That fifth-string quarterback looks pretty good.
We did see some 1 versus 1s in the 2 where they were closest to the field, but there was 2 other media observations where it was just, they're like 150 yards away. I'm like, I have binoculars. I still can't make out anything. Hilarious. So it was just so that was kind of I looked around thinking, well, we're just here on the balcony, just chopping it up as media guys here up here, but there we got a little bit of some glimpses, and there's always ways to get the background intel and figure out what's moving and shaking down there. So there's always ways to gather what's trending up, and so this will be an interesting season for BYU to see if they can live up to expectations.
And if there are ways, Mitch Harper finds him. He is not to be defeated. So, Mitch, as usual, our BYU insider for KSLSports.com, the best in the biz. Mitch, thanks for hanging out, man.
Hey, you bet. Guys, take care.
There you go, Mitch Harper.
Let's come up with a disguise.
Hi, it's me, Fitch Garper. Got a mustache.
And a trench coat.
Yeah, that'd be good. No, that's good. And then that's what you do. You do the You do the trench coat from BoJack Horseman. Yeah. You're in the top.
Yep.
Mitch is at the bottom, just peeking through. Phenomenal. All right. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Let me see. Yeah, we got the tickets. We got Jazz tickets to give away next. So you don't want to miss them. Jazz tickets. We've also got some projected win totals and predictions for all the Big 12. With I love a way too early anything. So anything can happen, of course, when and Mitch is obviously not the first person to talk about the soft schedule Texas Tech has to be able to get that Big 12 title wrapped up again. But we'll see who's going to challenge them, and we'll talk about that next. 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.
Do you love rom-coms? Do you wish you could talk about Christmas movies year-round? Then we have the perfect podcast for you, Hallmarkies Podcast. Throughout the year, we cover all things romance, holiday, and Hallmark, including recaps of every Hallmark show, like When Calls the Heart and The Way Home. You can also get loads of bonus content covering shows like Bridgerton, Sweet Magnolias, and just like that. We are an all-female group of friends who are passionate for these shows and movies and give our honest opinions as well as gush over what we love so much. But that's not all. Every Monday, there are interviews with all your favorite actors, writers, directors, and more. Check out Hallmarkies Podcast on all your podcast providers and on YouTube. That's Hallmarkies Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The biggest name. You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. JJ, what's the worst in-person concert you went to that you've ever been to?
Blink 182.
Off-key, what is it?
Off-key.
Not really into it. Sometimes those guys, the substances hit a little bit too
I know
hard.
they're bands, and I know what I'm paying for when I go there, that there's going to be some vulgarity, but they were overly.
Okay.
Like soliciting.
Wow.
Did I just say that over the radio?
I guess so.
That's what happened.
I thought we were just going to talk about
I was kind of like, come on, guys. Like,
guys
really?
having a bad set, but that was.
No, it was like.
No, I get it. I understand.
And they were not overly impressive in person when I watched them. That was about 25 years ago.
Mine was also probably 20-ish years ago, 22 or 3 years ago, at the Gorge in Washington. I was just having this conversation with Maddie Miller outside. Because the Gorge is phenomenal. Red Rocks is a very similar, like venue in terms of like the outdoor vibe. It's just, and the acoustics are phenomenal. And I watched, it broke my heart, but the Red Hot Chili Peppers live were terrible. Anthony Kiedis could not hit a note. It was not good. So I was just thinking about it. Sublime didn't make me think about that. I didn't think to myself that, I'm hearing this and this is great. Sublime is fine.
I've seen some great bands.
May they rest. Yeah.
Rage Against the Machine, I saw in person.
In person, I've had more good.
Smashing Pumpkins was awesome.
I've had more good experiences than I've had bad. So that's the good thing.
It's great.
When you pay the money, and the money now at concerts is. It's like sporting events that it's just almost impossible.
It's 3 figures to get in.
Yeah.
Went and saw, I've seen some. Garth Brooks. I'm not a country guy, but Garth Brooks is incredible.
I don't doubt it. Everybody loved that when he came out.
My gosh.
He had the outdoor thing here at Rice Eccles.
I'm anti-country guy, and Garth, I really enjoy. You're not going to find a guy that like kind of disdains country music more than me, and Garth was great. George Strait was great.
Disappointing Wyomingans everywhere, JJ, with that attitude about country.
I just said Chris Stapleton is amazing. Have you seen Chris Stapleton?
Isn't that the alt ego of Garth Brooks?
Basically, I guess. I don't know.
No. What's that guy that he tried to rock out being that guy? I can't remember his name. This is Chris something.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
People are trying to forget about that.
You can think about it. Tell me what text me or tweet me what the worst one is that you've ever gone to. Massive. It's disappointing to meet your heroes at the concerts.
Yeah,
that's
no good. Nothing worse than a disappointing concert.
All right. I've got jazz tickets to give away. Good thing about that is no 3 figures to get these tickets to get into the building. You know why? We're going to give them away right now. So let's do it. It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday giveaway. Let's get right at it.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, and your chance to win tickets is right now.
Call this number now.
Call this number now.
Be caller number 12 at 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-ZONE. And you'll be on your way to Delta Center to see the Utah Jazz.
He fires the 3. He hits. Oh, don't do me like that.
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Give us a call right now, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-9663, 801-575-ZONE. You get a pair of tickets to see the Jazz and the Nuggets on April 1st. That's tomorrow at Delta Center. Okay. Big 12 odds and picks, and CBS Sports is a lot like us right now, just absolutely desperate to be able to talk football as soon as we can. And they provided the opportunity. You know who it did? Shehan J. Haraja, hooking us up with the win total predictions. By the way, Shehan J. Haraja is like the Mitch Harper of CBS Sports when it comes to college football.
He's great.
Do you agree?
Yeah, and you meet him in person.
He's awesome, too.
It's always great to meet people in person and figure out, he's a great person.
High energy. We see him at all the Big 12 Media Day stuff, and he's high energy guy. He's super nice and thoughtful, but he's also he just loves this gig, and so he puts a ton of thought into it. He does. And let's go through these teams. Now, this is in an alphabetical order, and then you can kind of decide whether or not you how these win totals actually go over and what it's going to look like here. And I was shocked by some of these predictions, and some I think to myself, ooh, that program better get their crap together. I've got a couple in mind I want to roll past you, but number one on the list, because it starts with A, Arizona. 7.5 projected wins. The losses, according to Shehan, are BYU, at Texas Tech, and at Kansas State. At BYU and at Texas Tech's a pretty tough draw if you're the Wildcats. Tough to bear down in those places.
Yes.
But that being said, Noah Fifita is the only reason I don't think Bear Bachmeier is necessarily the best quarterback in the whole all the Big 12 is because one of the guys that I would put in front of him is Noah Fifita. And different skill set, obviously, but Noah Fifita, first of all, it seems like he's been playing for 100 years. And they sneakily won 9 games last year, and I'll remind you that they almost sent BYU with their first loss out of Tucson, and they did that so many freaking weeks where they had close losses, and they were a 9-win team when it was all said and done. They finished ahead of Arizona State on the standings table in the Big 12. Like, nobody talks about this because Arizona was one of those teams that was just like that middling kind of 9-ish wins and whatever. Arizona State picked for 6.5 wins. You lose Sam Leavitt. I don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. And the juice and the energy that Arizona State had when Kennedy Dillingham first got there, and after that first year and after that Big 12 title, I think you and I both know it at the very least, perception-wise, it's sort of sizzled out.
It's coming back down to earth for sure.
That's tough. I like the guy, too. I want him to stay there as long as he can. Baylor at 6.5. I don't know what. I
don't know what to think of Baylor.
I just think that Dave Aranda.
5-7 last year.
I like Dave Aranda, but he's not. It's not it, man.
Got to replace the quarterback.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not feeling Baylor at all.
Losses for them. They have to. First of all, they have to start off the year at Auburn, hosting Auburn. So they host Auburn. Their losses are, they say, Auburn at home, Arizona State on the road, TCU at home, at Kansas. That seems like a stretch, but sure, why not? At BYU, Texas Tech at home, and then at Houston. Houston's going to be good, man. So they're going to have
That's 7 losses.
By the way, those losses on their schedule just show me that they have a really freaking tough schedule.
He's got them 5-7.
Yeah.
And that includes a win against Prairie View A&M.
Go Panthers. BYU, he's got at 8.5 wins on the over-under. Now, on the actual picks that he has for the wins and losses, he's got wins 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 wins, and 2 losses. Now, the 2 losses that he has are going to be the ones that are going to make you the most sad if you're a BYU fan, because 11 wins again for Kalani would be insane. That would likely put them in the Big 12 championship again, right? Possibly.
Oh, should, yeah.
He has their losses hosting Notre Dame. Of course, they're doing that, the third week of the season.
Notre Dame coming to Provo.
To Provo, right? And then the other loss at Utah. So would you give up a loss at Utah to win 11 games if you're a BYU fan? Probably.
Yeah.
If you're smart.
You'd be okay
come on.
with it.
So
I guess
11-2.
Maybe not.
Maybe they aren't. Maybe
I'm
speaking too soon for them. We know enough people, the vocal minority, that might that might beat us up on social media.
Let me throw a reason out the window.
I don't care.
No.
No, they wouldn't accept it.
No.
So
no.
would you rather for BYU fans? It's like you go 11-2, but you lose to Utah and you go to the Big 12 championship game, or you go 10-3, but you still beat Utah, they would take that?
10-3, go Cougs.
You think that's what the guy online says?
Oh, yeah.
JJ's channeling the guy online.
Hey, that would be what, 4 in a row?
Officially.
4 in a row.
Yes, officially a streak for the Cougs. That was such a funny thing after that third win in a row that they've had, because everybody was bickering in the media room about before Kalani came into the media press conference about what was considered a win streak. So the fighting back and forth.
And people wonder why the media is so hated by the public.
Well, why would you consider not? So 2's not a streak, but 3 is? Okay, whatever your editor says. I'm like, ooh, I should record this. UCF 5.5 wins. Cincinnati 5.5. Colorado, the over/under is 4.5.
Gross.
I know, and he actually only has them at 4 wins, including hosting Weber State at Northwestern.
I'm not so sure about that Weber State.
I don't know either, because you think about
I'm taking Eric Kerr.
I am fascinated.
I'm all in on Eric Kerr and the Wildcats.
Fascinated what Eric Kerr is going to do up there.
They're going to have a good quarterback, and whoever it is, they're going to have a really good quarterback.
Dude, think about
they got dudes now.
Think about being Eric Kerr, okay? And in terms of Mount Rushmore high school coaches in the state of Utah, he's got to be number one.
There's not even a Mount Rushmore. He's number one. And there's been some great ones.
For sure.
But yes, Mount Rushmore for sure.
But imagine you're Eric Kerr, you're at Weber State, and you're after the game's over, and you've just beaten Colorado, and you're going over there to shake Prime's hand at midfield.
Oh my gosh, that'd be crazy.
Wild, right? How this
that's quite an ascent.
Coaching thing has gone for.
Good for him. It's awesome.
Houston 7.5 wins. He's actually got them going 9-3.
Yeah, I buy that.
I could see that. That's
Houston, along with Arizona, I think should be good again.
So I think they went 8-4 last year in conference, and then they won their bowl game.
They finished top 5 in the league.
Yeah, and then they won their bowl game. So maybe they went 9.
They finished. They went 10-3.
10-3 So they were
with
9.
A 6-3 conference record.
Dude, talk about overperforming.
They finished 4th in the league.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, Iowa State is going to take a big hit. That's probably the one that's going to be the most glaring, because obviously Matt Campbell leaving is a huge deal. He's got him at 5.5 wins and actually only has him winning 4. I don't even know. Oh, Southeast Missouri. That's who they're playing in the first game.
SEMO, baby.
SEMO. He was my best friend in high school. What's up, SEMO? Bowling Green, West Virginia, and Cincinnati. That's not a great list of
Pretty
wins.
lean.
Now, this one, I think, everyone saw this one coming. Kansas, 5.5 wins, and he actually only has them at 5. Beating Long Island, go Sharks. Beating Middle Tennessee, beating Baylor, beating UCF, and going to West Virginia and winning 2. Lance Leipold will lose his job if they only win 5 games this year. Am I wrong?
I don't know. Kansas.
Why do they love that freaking
It's a rebuilding
guy so
year.
He
Jalen
sucks.
Daniels is gone.
I think he stinks.
They've got a lot of guys they got to replace.
Kansas State 7.5. Oklahoma State
still don't believe in Avery Johnson.
5.5. We'll see if they can turn it around there with Mestamaker coming in with his head coach Eric Morris, and then TCU 6.5. We'll see what Sonny Dykes can do after throwing his old quarterback under the bus.
Well, he thinks Oklahoma State's going to turn it around. 4 losses.
So Shehan Jeharaja's got Texas Tech going undefeated.
Yep, I agree.
0 losses on the schedule.
Is Charmin soft.
Certainly does help. And then guess what? Guess who's going to be fighting at the top of the table? But according to this, Utah will go 11-2, and they'll have the tiebreaker against BYU because they beat them head-to-head.
Kind of a flip-flop from last year.
Ruh-roh. West Virginia at 5.5. Okay. So there you go. We'll take a break. We'll come back, digest it a little bit. Might talk about it a touch more when we come back. But I've got a phenomenal top 10 for you, JJ. That I think you'll do great at.
Okay.
Annapolis, not so much. All right. 97.5 EKSL Sports App.
Hey, I'm Josh Spiegel, host of the podcast Lunatic in the Newsroom. If you enjoy journalism that drifts into mild panic, wild overthinking, and a guaranteed nervous breakdown, Lunatic in the Newsroom is for you. It's news like you've never heard before. The only newsroom with a panic button. You'll laugh, you'll cry, and gasp in horror as the show spirals completely out of control. It's not just news, it's emotionally unstable. Lunatic in the Newsroom. Listen today.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Just top.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. My sister drove a Nissan Pulsar in high school.
Do they make those anymore?
Absolutely not. T-top, though. Which is always fun. And if the kids out there are listening, Annapolis, you know what T-top is on a car? It's the worst kind of convertible you can have because it's multiple pieces that you have to manually remove.
It sucks.
And then you put it in the trunk because you're like, oh. And then after a while, you're like, the top of your roof is all scratched up because you've been storing it back and forth between your trunk. And anyway, T-top Nissan Pulsar. That song reminds me of driving around in that Nissan Pulsar, my sophomore year in high school. I know. That's a great tune, though. Yes. I feel like those guys would have been awesome live. May they all rest. I think they're all dead. No? Some.
Were they massacred or something? What happened there?
I just assume those guys live a rough life. Hey, if Keith
Tragic news in Southern California.
Sorry.
Sublime.
Entire band.
Eaten by a pack of wolves. They were delicious.
The Ted Koppel never gets old. All right. Let me see here. I got a top 10 for you. And now this one's kind of funny because I was looking it up because yesterday we were having this conversation about size and how big of a deal it is to be able to have that size. And we talked about how big this lineup with the Jazz potentially next year could be. And it got me thinking, and I have in front of me, the top 10 tallest players ever to play in the NBA.
Okay.
And you've got 60 seconds, and I'm going to make sure that I have them all in front of me so I don't it's one of those lists that I don't. Okay, here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Get the timer ready, Annapolis. On your mark, get set, go.
George Mirasan,
Ding.
Manute Bol,
Ding.
Sean Bradley,
Ding.
Mark Eaton. Wasn't there a guy named Nevitt or something like that?
Me.
Did I give it?
Ding! I'll give you Mr. Nevitt. Yeah, just
yes!
like you know why? Because Alex Trebek did it. Get the last name, you're good.
Ralph Sampson. No? Oh man, so who am I missing now? Wembanyama. No, okay.
I know, right?
Okay, who else was tall? Who
Quit
else
on
was
that
7'6"?
phone, Annapolis.
How many more left is there? I mean, Wilt Chamberlain?
Let me see here.
He wasn't as tall as all those guys. Mark Eaton's not on the list? How many 7'5" guys?
Well, it depends on. You know what? I'll give you Wembanyama.
Okay.
Because he's tied.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
He's tall. Okay. How many have I? I've got a lot of guys.
You've gotten people.
Who's missing?
Others.
Somebody who's 7'7". I got Manute Bol.
You did get Manute. You got
Sean Bradley. I got.
You did.
Who am I missing?
Oh, it was Yao Ming.
Yao Ming. Damn it. Gosh dang. You count that?
Like
that's the only one I can think of.
It was out of his hand at the buzzer. It was out of his hand at the buzzer that counts.
Hey, listen.
Annapolis with the assist
for
the
best.
win.
That's JJ, because JJ probably, when it comes to sports like trivia on the station, I would take JJ 1,000 times over anybody else.
How did I miss Yao Ming? Gosh
and
dang
so that reaction, we got to pull that. We got to have it for future reference because it was as visceral. Like, he's that upset about not saying Yao Ming. And
I got Mr. Nevitt.
Yeah.
How did I not get Yao Ming?
So
you have to be old to know who Nevitt is.
For sure. You got it.
What's his first name?
Chuck.
That's right. Chuck Nevitt.
Chuck Nevitt. So the other guys are people you just don't know. Sim Bolar.
Who?
2015 played for the Kings.
All right.
But also in that same vein, and you should know his name, and he was not good, and he still is not good. Taco Fall.
Oh, that's right.
7'6". He's Taco. I love how you're on a first name basis with him. Taco. Pavel Podkolzin.
Jazz draft pick.
Oh, he was? Yeah,
Yes.
played for the Mavs for 3 years.
Gosh dang.
Chuck Nevitt, as you said, and then Slavko Vranjes. It's at 7'5". He and Victor Wembanyama, because Wembanyama went up an inch.
He's still
from
growing.
When he got drafted.
My
so
goodness.
7'5" is where the 10
Mark
ends.
Eaton didn't make this
Yes,
list.
because he's only 7'4". May he rest.
Gosh dang.
All right, your Beehive Meals Hero of the Week program goes like this. You nominate somebody at KSLSports.com/contests, and then we pick one of those winners of awesome people who do a great job of youth sports in their neck of the woods. And if that's somebody that you know who does all of that because they love the kids and they love the sports so much, KSLSports.com/contest. We read a winner off every Thursday on our program. We love them up on our social media pages, and then they also get $250 courtesy of Beehive Meals, who brings you this program. All right, we'll take a break. More to go around the corner. Jared Weiss, covering the NBA for The Athletic. He's going to join us next. 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.
This is Mike Bolo of Lexicon Valley.
And I'm Bob Garfield. Are you one of those people who sometimes uses words?
Do you communicate or acquire information with, language?
Hey, us too. So join us on Lexicon Valley to chew over the history, culture, and many mysteries of English, plus some wisecracks.
Find us on one of those apps where people listen to podcasts.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply. Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Had to wait for the lyrics to start up. Tribe, nice pick, Annapolis.
Q-Tip and Fife Dog, love it.
All the time, Fife.
Rest in peace, Fife.
And all of Sublime.
Yes.
I don't. Again, we guess sometimes if these musicians are alive still.
The Sublime Massacre of 1994.
I'm pretty sure the guy who is the lead singer's out.
Yeah, he is.
He's the only one that matters when it comes to that sound.
Don't do drugs, kids.
All right. Welcome back. 97.5 KSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen. Appreciate you being on the program here with us. We're kicking off this hour with the cut as we always do. We're going to dip in on a national voice when it comes to the NBA. Because heaven knows we need to look outside of this market for a minute just so we can feel like we're alive as we get down to 7 games with the Utah Jazz here. The rest of the league, of course, on the verge of getting to the playoffs. And let's kick it off right here. Jared Weiss is our guest, and that's where we start things off with the cut.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the program. TRAJANwealth.com for all your trusted local needs in retirement. Jared Weiss covers the NBA for The Athletic. Also focuses in on the Spurs as well. Not a bad time to be following this Spurs team. Jared, thanks for being with us again, man.
I got to say, of all the lead-ins I've ever gotten to a radio hit, don't do drugs, kids. It's got to be the best sport.
That's what you get in Utah. That's the message we get. We give it out once a day in
that
Utah.
message resonates anywhere.
Come on. I know. Well, look. And it was all just based off of the fact that a lot of the artists we listen to, you go, I think their lead singer's dead. Yeah, that's unfortunately how it works in the music world. It's not good. But Jared, you're picking an awesome time to be able to cover the Spurs team. You've been through a lot, probably covering the Spurs team, and we're going through it here in Utah when it comes to a team who is not used to the stretch of years that they've had to put up with losses and doing the whole back and forth of the lottery and the hopes and dreams that sometimes brings and a lot of times doesn't. So this Spurs team, what is it that made them make such a big jump? I know that having personnel is great, but there's also like a learning to win aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's an obvious one. We'll skip over that. It's too obvious, right? Anybody could tell you that. But for them, it's the layers of depth and buy-in that they've gotten across the roster. Like, it just starts with they traded for De'Aaron Fox, and he's now a two-time All-Star who is, like, happy to take a back seat. And it's just hard to find, like, a max player, a former All-Star, guy that's won Clutch Player of the Year, to be, like, fine with being like, all right, I'm not going to take the last shot, no problem. Like, he has this perspective where he gets it. He's like, I'm here to be the Robin to who could end up being the greatest Batman that we've seen, like the Michael Keaton or the Christian Bale of Batmans. I don't know. I guess it depends how old you are.
Sure.
And so, like, he's happy to do it. Steph Castle is emerging as probably going to be a perennial All-Star. And he's just, like, totally happy to share touches with De'Aaron. Dylan Harper is the number 2 pick in the draft. The guys drafted around him are already superstars. He's coming off the bench, and every time I ask him about it, he's like, bro, I play with Victor Wembanyama. Like, I don't care. I want to win a championship. They just picked all these guys, and I'm just talking about the stars that you get to the Keldon Johnsons, Devin Vassell's, Julian Champagne's, Harrison Barnes. Like, you could just keep going their Brian Wright and Mitch Johnson, guys running that team, they've done a great job putting together a harmonious system.
And look, obviously there was some luck involved in it, but the Spurs built it through a combination of things. But we all know that they tanked to get Wembanyama, and they have a history of this and a history of hitting on it. And it's a big topic in the NBA right now. You're immersed in this. Do you have any suggestions on what to do about this, or is it silly that we're even debating it? Because this is unfortunately just what you have to do in order to get those difference makers that take you to a championship.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the lottery to take away like a little bit of, introduce a little bit of randomness, but like to try to cycle over long periods of time the competitive balance in the league, which is necessary. It is. And I definitely worry about some of the suggestions for lottery reform about them, leaving some franchises completely hapless for a long time. And I guess maybe that's not really going to be any different than it is now. I mean, the Sacramento Kings do exist, but it's clear that they need to do something. I don't know if what they need to do is necessarily change the way the lottery works, but rather maybe to give the commissioner more power to make ad hoc decisions, like to be able to fine teams or punish teams way more severely than they already have done. This whole conversation really came to a head, and it's the thing that keeps getting brought up to me over and over again, is when the Jazz rested their guys in the fourth quarter of that game. Like, that's what it was. That's what broke the camel's back. And, Silver came down hard, but he could have come down a lot harder. And maybe the NBA Constitution limits how hard he's able to come down on these teams. I think that's where you'd want to make the changes. So therefore, you can kind of put out these fires when they happen without taking away the competitive balance thing. But you know what? It's going to change. And I think we all just got to embrace the fact that it's going to change. And hopefully it will at least restore a little bit of faith in people's perception of the game, which is already right now really, really in trouble between that and Kalshi and Polymarket and all these betting companies exploding. The league has a credibility issue, and it's not a 5-alarm fire, but I can hear the alarm. I'm sure you guys can hear the alarm right now too, and they got to do something before it gets louder.
100%.
So I was looking at these standings, at least yesterday. I think we were, I'll refresh my memory on some of these numbers here, but between 3 and 6 in the Western Conference, it's now 3.5 games that separate 3 and 6. Yesterday it was 3. The Lakers, Nuggets, Timberwolves, Rockets, and that's it. Yeah, Lakers, Nuggets, Timberwolves, Rockets. That 3 to 6, everybody has a very similar record. My question for you is, out of those teams, which one actually has a chance to contend with the Spurs or the Thunder in that Western Conference to be able to get to the NBA Finals?
I mean, listen, Jokic is the guy that probably would scare the Spurs the most. He's the guy that is kind of toughest for them to match up with. And also, Wemby might have to guard him. And the Spurs' success has very much been predicated on Wemby plays zone most of the game. Wemby just parks in the paint, and they manage to do it in a way that doesn't break the rules, and they manage to do it in a way that conserves his energy. If they can't do that, that's going to completely change the team most likely. So we'll see. I mean, that's the guy that I would be most concerned of on the Spurs. On the Thunder, it's a little different because they do have a lot of personnel that matches up well. Minnesota is probably the team that would scare me the most, depending on how their offense is put together. And then right now, I mean, hey, Luka is averaging 70 points a game right now. So there's a lot of good answers. Houston's the only team that you're not as worried about right now, just because one, their offensive spacing has been an issue, and they haven't been the same since the KD burner scandal, and the vibes have just not been good there right now. So they're probably going to finish in 6, and so the order will probably look reasonably accurate relative to how good these teams are and how much of a threat they actually are. But it certainly seems like the West, the representative of the West, is most likely going to be one of those top 2 teams.
You look at the Spurs, and the 9-game winning streak right now is impressive. 57-18 is impressive. It's just, and Wembanyama's a freak, and their roster's great. And people here in Utah hate to admit it, but the Spurs are great, and everything that they've done is perfect. But you can't skip steps in this league. What gives them the confidence, and what are you seeing from this team that gives them confidence that they can't skip those steps? Because going from not making the playoffs to all of a sudden contending, that's quite a jump.
Well, look at Cleveland last year. So Cleveland, they won 60 games also. I think the Spurs are right at 58 or 59. I'm pretty sure they're going to get to 60.
Yeah.
That was a team that had a really clear identity. Then they got to the playoffs. They lost. One of their guys got hurt. Darius Garland got hurt. Their spacing didn't really work as well in the postseason, and they fell off to a team that just had a really clear identity and hit the gas at the right time in Indiana. And look at what Indiana did. They almost won the championship, and who knows, maybe they would have won it if it weren't for the injury. The Spurs' identity, I think, to their credit, it changes very frequently. They're a very adaptive team. Obviously, they're relying on Wemby. If Wemby gets hurt, then obviously they're not going to win. Who cares? Whatever. That's obvious. They have a bunch of different guys that can run their offense, and they adapt well to different defenses. And Wemby in particular operates in very different ways depending on the opponent. So their versatility just makes me think they're going to be very playoff resilient, because whoever they face, they're going to be able to change their game plan up. They're going to be able to maybe tweak lineups a little bit. But most importantly, their star player will be happy to adapt. And he's not locked in to exactly the way he plays. In fact, what's interesting about Victor is while Victor can really put his foot on the throat of the opponent, his game is almost passive in a way a lot of the time, where he's the roll man. The guards just kind of run in circles until eventually someone forgets to touch Victor, and then Victor's just standing 30 feet over the hoop, and they just throw the ball in the air. That's how they win these games. So I think that they're built to be playoff resilient, and they already have a lot of guys that like to be intense, that like to compete. And so the intensity of the postseason probably won't be the issue. It's more of the complexity and layers and adjustments and tendency things that come into play in the postseason. That's going to be probably the part where a lot of those guys struggle. And Victor, as amazing as he's been, teams that beat the crap out of him and throw him to the floor, he's getting better at handling that, but we haven't seen him have to handle that every single game over and over. So we'll see how he holds up on a playoff run.
So the owners were supposed to have a vote, I think, a preliminary vote on the possibility of expansion and what that looks like. Everybody talks about Seattle and Las Vegas, almost like it's a done deal. Feels like that. I grew up a Sonics fan, and so it was always been weird that they haven't been in the league, but I wonder if there's anything in the way that would make it to where this expansion situation doesn't happen. Is there a possibility that either of those cities are not necessarily going to be able to make it happen, or is this just kind of one of these things we're waiting for everything to get solved before the next round of expansion happens?
There's definitely a chance it's not going to happen. Here's why. The league has been, there's been reports that the league wants $7 billion, $8 billion for an expansion fee, which would make them the second most expensive sale ever, right, to the Lakers. And they're counting on, one, rapid inflation on these franchise valuations really, really quickly, like almost immediately. And two, a Vegas team is probably worth a lot more than a Seattle team. So there's no way they're going to go for the same price. Like the Seattle market and the Vegas market are two very different markets. So, and I don't know the economics of it. Maybe they even out in their value between like local fans in Seattle versus, transient fans in Vegas. I don't really know. But there's certainly a lot more money to be made in partnerships and advertising revenue and blah, blah, blah in Vegas, right? So I just don't see how the league is going to get $8 billion or whatever the number that people really are throwing around is on Seattle. And so then what happens if they can only get the price that they want on one of these teams and not the other? And also, there's a lot more people that are trying to get into business in Vegas than there are trying to get into business in Seattle. So I'm a little dubious that they're going to get what they want, but they're probably still going to get enough money to make it worthwhile, right? But like, it seems like the whole point of expansion has always been to try to get those expansion fees divvied out to all the owners.
Wemby recently made his case for MVP, and I get it. Can you make the case for Wemby for MVP, or is you just look at SGA and Jokic and even Luka and think he's not quite ready for that consideration yet? What is the case for Wemby?
Go watch a game. It's not that complicated. Watch a game. His numbers are very good. They're not elite, but they are very good. And then you watch a game and you see how much of the box score doesn't capture what he does. I've been working on doing some research with some analytics folks to try to use tracking data to capture what he does. And the tracking data makes it look like he's kind of an outlier as the best player in the NBA in a lot of different ways. So he's a very different player than those guys. I mean, he's on the track to becoming a similar type of player to Jokic. He's not the passer that Jokic is, but the way that he moves around the court, the way that the ball funnels through him is becoming more and more similar to the style of play that Jokic does as time goes on, even if the way that they literally move is very different. And so, Wemby's main case, and this is what the case that he made to me and that we then had him do publicly in a press conference, is the number one thing is defense is 50% of the game. And I even argued to him that if you're a center, which he scoffed at because he's like, I'm not quite a center, don't put me in that box. But center defense might be 70% of their value on the court, really. And look at his defense, man. Guys just run away from him. They literally just teams have. Doc Rivers just said it. Actually, talking about his offense, but I'd say it applies more even to his defense. That you have to change your game plan when you face it because he's just a completely different animal to contain. Because if he's able to stand untouched anywhere in the paint, the play's over. They just throw it up to him, and they do it 5-6 times a night. He just the gravity that he has is so much stronger than anybody else. He's even stronger than Jokic. And so much of what he does doesn't get captured in the box score. But then you look at they're taking the most corner 3-pointers ever. They were a team that wasn't even supposed to be a good 3-point shooting team, and they're doing well just because he creates so many open shots. So if you watch the game, you will see it. He is someone that is impacting every possession on both sides of the floor. His aggregate impact over the course of the game is probably higher than everybody else's.
I look at the way that the league is going. You mentioned all of the betting house relationships that, frankly, every sport is trying to figure out how to balance that out and how to work it. Have we gotten any update about the guys that have been? I think we just forgot about Chauncey Billups and just he just sort of went away, and I'm sure that's what the NBA probably hopes for, but. Do they have any kind of movement on the scandals that have busted out from some of the betting stuff? And obviously trying to nip that stuff in the bud is really, really tough if you're Adam Silver. But do we know anything about where that stands with these guys who were taken from their teams and all the past investigations that were ongoing?
I'm not up to speed on the court cases, but I mean, the wheels of justice do move pretty slowly, right? So I think they all got their plea deals in, and I'm sure there's been some more hearings, or there's another hearing coming soon. I don't know what part of these things are sealed or not, but it is I think an ongoing federal investigation. So oftentimes stuff gets sealed on that. But I mean, it's going to come back up. And I think eventually once these trials begin and evidence starts getting out to the public, that's when that's when stuff is really going to come to a head. So I'm sure that story is not going to completely die out. It's going to get revived multiple times.
You look at the standings, and it just looks like there's this big gap between the Western Conference and Eastern Conference. But is there a team in the East that has any chance to win a title this year against whoever comes out of the West?
Well, yeah. I mean, Jason Tatum just came back, right? So that's probably the most obvious one. They've been playing well. He just won Player of the Week. Like, the guy came back pretty early from an Achilles tear, and then won Player of the Week like a few weeks into it. Like, come on, like this is ridiculous. So, the Celtics very clearly are in that tier, or I would say very clearly, but it seems like the Celtics are in that top contender tier with the Spurs and the Thunder. The Pistons losing Cade now, let's see what happens there. But there was always, I think, some well-founded skepticism about can the Pistons really win a championship where they only have one real primary ball handler? Like, there's just so much to put on Cade's shoulders there. And the Knicks, who knows? The Knicks, the Cavs, two teams that it's like, they got the talent, they've got the potential to do it, and they've been good generally good lately in the second half of the season, so it's possible for them. But with the way the Celtics have been playing this year, and now getting Tatum back, and Tatum's really hitting his stride here, they just seem like the very obvious top contender.
Yeah, I agree.
Jared Weiss, his X handle, easy enough to follow, Jared Weiss, NBA. You can also see his byline at The Athletic. Jared, we always love dipping in, man. Thanks for hanging out. And I would think we'd be able to dip in on some Spurs playoff talk once they get deep enough and make a run there. So we'll chat with you again in the future, man.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Don't do drugs, Jared. There you go.
If you learned anything today.
All right. I'll take the break. We'll come back. We've got another pair, our final pair of Jazz tickets to give away today on a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. So stay dipped in here. Stay listening. We've also got an NFL Blitz. A lot of the goings on in the NFL, and just so much to be able to chat about here. Will Mike McCarthy get his man? Can Mike McCarthy convince Aaron Rodgers one last ride? We'll talk about it next. 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.
Hi, this is Alex Kantrowitz. I'm the host of Big Technology Podcast, a longtime reporter and an on-air contributor to CNBC. And if you're like me, you're trying to figure out how artificial intelligence is changing the business world and our lives. So each week on Big Technology, I bring on key actors from companies building AI tech and outsiders trying to influence it, asking where this is all going. They come from places like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, and plenty more. So if you want to be smart with your wallet, your career choices, in meetings with your colleagues, and at dinner parties, listen to Big Technology Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen. Thank you for being with us. So Team USA is 2 wins, 3 draws, and 2 losses all time versus Portugal, who they are currently playing in a friendly. I always love friendlies. Don't say friendly, though.
No other sport has friendlies.
Can we just not call it friendly? Just don't, because I think
this is an intense competition. Why are we calling these
when
things
I see
friendly?
the
What's
term,
the point of a friendly?
I know. When I see the term friendly, I think no one's trying. And I know there's a little bit of that, but it's not really totally that way, especially when people are warming up for the World Cup. Like, some dudes are busting their butts to make a roster on probably both sides of these teams, but how many guys are on a roster? 23 for the World Cup?
It's up to 26 now.
Is it? Anyway, my whole thing is, come on, don't call it a friendly. Just say international exhibition. Now, exhibition has the same vibe, though. What can we call it? How can we rebrand friendly, Annapolis? I don't know. I don't know how to rebrand it. I'm going to think on it. Hey, the NFL Blitz right here upon you. Before we do it, though, how about we open up some phone lines here, and we're going to kick this thing off. We'll put a pause on our NFL music for a moment as we get you ready to win some Jazz tickets on a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. Let's do it.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, and your chance to win tickets is right now.
Call this number now.
Call this number now.
Be caller number 12 at 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-ZONE. And you'll be on your way to Delta Center to see the Utah Jazz.
He fires the three. He hits. Oh, don't do me like that.
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All you have to do is give us a call right now, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE, 801-575-9663. Get a pair of tickets to see the Jazz versus the Nuggets tomorrow at Delta Center as the countdown continues to be done with this regular season. You can go in and watch potential multi-MVP winner in the NBA, Nikola Jokic. Look like he's not trying, but be the best player on the court. No problem. Do you think he gets taken away? Do you think people does it add to his mystique that he looks like he's bored? Or do you think that...
Yeah, he makes it look easy.
Or do you think that it actually makes it like even more impressive?
No.
Like, oh, he doesn't look like he's doing it very much.
It makes it's...
He cries over horses and he doesn't care about his job as a...
I think it's a flex.
As a player.
It's definitely a flex.
It might be the best flex ever. Just somebody who goes, I kind of don't even care, and I'm still beating
Yeah, I'm just tiered till I don't get fined.
I love how you gave him a Scandinavian accent.
Missed on that one. That was a whiff.
Nikola Svensson.
It's fancy.
All right, I'm going to do a little game here with you, JJ, as we get into the NFL Blitz. It's like an ad lib, or it's like a Mad Libs that you played when you were a kid.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got a head coach and a quarterback, all right? Blank, the head coach, says his QB blank will lead their team blank to the, quote, promised land.
So it would have to be the worst team in the league, right?
I don't know. I don't know if that's – I don't know. I mean, because, listen, I feel like there are a lot of coaches who –
what coach in franchise saying that would just make you just absolutely just stunned? Like, how could you possibly say that?
There's actually, what's crazy, it's a handful in my mind.
I'm going with the Jets.
Aaron Glenn says QB Geno Smith. Don't forget Geno Smith.
You can't be serious.
We'll lead the Jets to the promised land. Okay, let's do another one then. Clint Kubiak says, if we get Fernando Mendoza, he will take us to the promised land. Which one of those is true? Which one of them
I think Mendoza has a chance to take him to the promised land at some point eventually. I don't think you can say that Geno Smith could take what's the promised land for the Jets? 9-8?
Mike McCarthy says his quarterback Aaron Rodgers could lead the Steelers to the promised land.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I don't know. The first round of the playoffs? What's the promised
I don't know
land
what
for
the promised
Steelers
land
this
is.
year?
What would the promised land for the Jets be? By the way,
the Jets.
Good guess. It was the Jets.
Okay.
It was Aaron Glenn and the Jets over-promising and under-delivering. Certainly under-delivering. So there you go. Let me see here.
The Jets are just so far away.
The Seahawks and the Patriots are actually going to be the next two teams on HBO's Hard Knocks. That's pretty wild.
I like
the two
that.
teams playing in the
Hey, good.
yeah, it's been normally reserved for garbage teams that we want to make fun of.
I like that the teams are opening things up. It's going to be good entertainment.
Look, I don't know, were the Patriots ever a Hard Knocks team?
I don't think
so.
so.
I just don't feel like Belichick would ever have signed off on it. And I bet that, like, Robert Kraft probably approached him and be like, this is good publicity for us. He's like, that's a no. I don't know if they ever were, but there you go. Lamar Jackson says that the Ravens, that he might skip the offseason workouts of the Ravens. Which in my mind, I'm cool with that. If I'm the Ravens, I go, get right, bro.
Yeah. I'm not worried about
an injured Lamar Jackson.
Going to OTAs.
By the way, the only Raven or the only quarterback that really could make such a difference to lead that team to the a franchise, a singular franchise that if they don't have him, they kind of don't have a chance. I think it's the Ravens might be toward the top of that list of teams that have to have that guy to be able to be elite. Patrick Mahomes feels like that for the Chiefs. Who else?
I mean, the Bills.
Oh, Jared Allen.
You got to have Josh Allen.
Or Josh Allen. Jared Allen, he was also a phenomenal player, but other side of the ball.
I would say that with the Broncos and Bo Nix at this point.
I saw the memes going around this week of Jared Stidham saying he was, out there to compete for the starting job, and everyone's like, "Pah!"
Oh, man.
You can't say that out loud.
No.
Come on.
No chance. They got Jalen Waddle, so championship.
Hey, Waddle's a great pickup. And you revitalize a guy, too.
Worry they gave too much up for him. Maybe
you
they didn't learn no lesson
guy
from Russell Wilson.
Oh, yeah. You revitalize a guy who's depressed in the place that he's at.
He's an elite talent.
Yes.
We knew that coming out of Alabama.
Yeah.
So maybe it finally clicks in Denver at the level that it was intended to click at. He's been good in Miami. I don't know that he's been all-pro level, so see if he can get there.
So do you think that A.J. Brown and Nick Sirianni is a marriage that's going to last very long?
No. It felt weird last year, right?
Well, how about how the commentary that's been made by Nick Sirianni out of Philadelphia right now is right now he's a Philadelphia Eagle. You're like,
right now,
I don't like that. And then Mike Vrabel, by the way, has made it very clear that he is very interested in trading for A.J. Brown.
They got to replace Stephon Diggs.
I know.
That'd be a nice pickup and a really good fit.
I think the weirdest fit ever for a quarterback would be Fernando Mendoza at the Raiders, by the way. That would just be so wild.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Just that guy suiting up for the Raiders and being like, just happy to be out here winning games. Just want to give, first and foremost, shout out to the Lord for a great game while he's wearing the black and silver.
Doesn't fit. But hey, maybe that's exactly what the Raiders need.
Could you imagine him coming in and becoming an all-time Raider great? Just that dude with the goofy smile on his face and just wins. You know what I mean? It would be awesome.
Find a more opposite Kenny Stabler quarterback, right? It just doesn't match.
The snake would never.
The Raiders may need to turn a corner on that. And if they want to win at a high level and they got a shot at getting a Heisman Trophy winner that won a national championship, you don't get that very often, so they got to take him. He's a winner, right?
So the competition committee got together, and I don't know what it's going to do immediately, except for they're going to have some changes to officiating. And they said, excuse me, the changes they're making actually put us in a very interesting moment because it says if the officials union doesn't approve, you know what we're going to have at the beginning of the year? Replacement refs.
No.
Remember that whole deal?
Oh, not again.
Hey,
please no.
I benefited huge.
How did you benefit? Oh, the
Seahawks got the greatest call on the planet. When those two referees looked at each other and both gave
shame,
and they both gave the wrong. They both looked at each other and were like, "Yeah, me too." And one went touchdown, and the other one went.
Yep.
And the other one called the. Called for time to stop and for them to get a look at it, and it was
greatest moments in NFL history.
They went for so then they had to honor the touchdown, and they couldn't overturn it, and it was hilarious.
Clown show, man.
Yeah, and then it came out later. That poor guy, he's like, his last game that he officiated was like the state championships in the state of Washington or something like that. It was like,
poor guy.
As the U.S. goes down 1-0 against Portugal. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. I'm praying for the replacement refs. Just so you have elite talent with terrible officiating. What a great combo. It's always fun to watch it. All right. We'll take that break. We'll come back. Did we get the last ticket winners, by the way? All right, nice. We'll come back. We'll put a bow on it for this hour, and we'll come right back with the best and worst. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Every day, the world gets a little weirder and a lot more awesome. Cool Stuff Daily takes a look at everything from mining in space to the latest in the fight against cancer to how AI is, basically changing everything. It's all the cool stuff you didn't know you needed to know. Join us for Cool Stuff Daily as we take a quick look at science, tech, and the wait, what stories that make you sound way smarter at dinner. Subscribe to Cool Stuff Daily now, because the future's happening fast, and it's way too fun to miss.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Just top.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope, she bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
Who wins more games this year? Kyle Whittingham or Morgan Scalley?
Morgan Scalley. Book it.
All right.
I'm serious.
Napolis, what do you think? You agree? You're nodding your head like you're on board.
Compare the schedules.
Tough in the Big Ten, I agree. But they feel like they have a national championship type team. Now here's the deal. What's his name? Bryce Underwood?
Yeah.
That guy has been woefully unprepared. Did you know they didn't have a dedicated quarterback coach at Michigan?
That's insane.
So Witt was asked about it. He goes, "What do you like?" This is a guy who's pretty unrefined still. He goes, "Yeah, we have a guy who has all the tools, and he didn't have a dedicated quarterback coach. We thought that was pretty insane. But now Jason Beck, who obviously is the offensive coordinator, but they also have Coy Detmer. Remember they brought Coy Detmer over to Michigan.
Yep.
And
Coy Detmer Jr.
He's like." And what's his Whittingham was like, those two guys, they know everything what they're doing. And I have complete confidence those guys are going to. He has mechanics stuff that they can fix. And I just thought, man, but they feel like they have a national championship in them in the next 2 or 3 years.
That I buy.
Just not this year, maybe.
Just not yet.
Take a minute.
Year one. You mentioned I'm not sold on Underwood yet. And there's going to be some personnel wrinkles they got to work out, but I think they can get there because of his staff and what they're doing. It's Michigan. You're going to be able to go get the guys you want, but not this year. And the Big Ten, I mean, Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, even USC.
Are they playing all of them?
So their schedule is Western Michigan, Oklahoma, UTEP, Iowa, Minnesota, Penn State, Indiana, Rutgers, Michigan State, Oregon, UCLA, and Ohio State. I don't think they beat Ohio State. I don't think they beat Oregon at Oregon. I don't think they beat Indiana. And I am not sure about Penn State or Iowa. And Oklahoma, I mean, toss-up. So there's 3 or 4 losses there, I think. Does Utah have 3 or 4 losses on their schedule? I don't think so. And Shehan, his piece earlier, he thinks they're going to go 10-2 in the regular season. I agree. I could see them doing the same thing that they did last year. The schedule's not as challenging. It doesn't have Texas Tech on it this year, right? No Texas Tech.
No Texas Tech. I don't think for BYU or Utah.
That's correct.
Right?
That's why Texas Tech's schedule's so easy.
That's what I was going to say. Everybody goes, oh, that's kind of nice. But then you go, wait a minute.
That
means they're not playing either of them.
That's not fair.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Hey, best and worst right here on the program as we wrap things up here for this hour. Let me see here. Oh, best of the day. How about BYU making it to the WBIT championship after they beat Kansas in the tournament semifinals? So the WBIT, this is the new women's NIT?
There is still a WNIT, but I think this is the better tournament.
This is the better tournament now.
Yeah.
Who are they playing in the final then?
Columbia.
Ivy League, huh?
Yes.
Bonus points for Annapolis if we can get the mascot for Columbia.
No? Lions.
You got it. This guy doesn't miss on the mascots.
Nerd alert.
I'm going to be honest. When I was in college, I think I studied all 350 of the NCAA Division I basketball teams. We had it in a packet that my roommates and I would look at, and we'd quiz each other. I think I spent more time on that than I did in actual school.
You know what? That's your parents' money well spent.
I know. Hey, Mom, you got a C in American Heritage.
But I can name all 365 Division I basketball team mascots. Bet you can't do that.
Let me ask you this, Mom. Who are the Salukis?
Southern Illinois, son.
Of course.
Everybody knows that.
So there you go. BYU marching on in that extra basketball. And Lee Cummard. Listen, Lee Cummard.
We need to give Lee Cummard some praise.
We covered that guy when he was the actual played on Dave Rose's team. I love that dude came back and is doing this.
Yep.
I love that you think about the legacy that Juddy built down there, and you go,
yep.
I'm glad that Lee Cummard's having that success. Hey, the worst is, here we go, Tiger Woods.
Oh boy.
Hey, we have a police report.
We have an update. He's also announced this afternoon that he's going to rehab.
Good time to do it.
Yeah, he needs it.
Could he wait 2 weeks, play in the Masters first?
So does that mean he's not going to be at the Masters?
People are like, is he going to be at the Champions Dinner? And I'm like, come on, you guys. So, fine. He didn't do the urinalysis, right? Refused that. And then he blew double zeros on the breathalyzer because the impairment that was presumed by the officer on scene was of something else.
Mm-hmm.
So the report says that Tiger Woods, when they got him out of the vehicle, they said, what's the problem? He said that he was looking at his phone and was distracted. That's why he hit it. Witnesses say that they saw him attempt to pass the truck. But the truck also was turning into the driveway. So, but he refused the breathalyzer. They asked him about taking a field sobriety test. He brought up, hey, my ankle's bad. It stiffens up. They said he was having a hard time walking in a straight line as it was. They also said he was, quote, sweating profusely, and his eyes were dilated, the most I've seen in quite some time, said the officer. Sweating profusely, eyes dilated, slurred speech, having a problem. When asked about if he had taken prescription medications, I take a few. Redacted from the report were the prescriptions that he mentioned. So I would presume that those redacted prescriptions listed there are probably going to be the thing that when the redaction ends up not being a part of the conversation anymore, then we see why Tiger Woods is getting ahead of it with rehab. Okay? So I hope he pled not guilty also. So he's going to kind of fight the back and forth here. But do the math from a social standpoint and for a career standpoint and what your view of Tiger Woods is when he gets hit with a DUI, gets arrested for an alleged DUI, but says not guilty, pleads not guilty, doesn't take the urine test, doesn't do all the stuff, and he's avoiding all of it, but then also checks himself into rehab. So do the math. It's not a good look. And I feel bad for his kids because they're the ones that are getting, they're old enough now that they're in all the things. And like Charlie's at every major junior tournament you could imagine. And you're trying to put together a career of your own as he gets ready, I think, to play for Florida State, right, in college?
Yeah.
It's weird times, man. Just this guy has had the most strange. We've had some wild lives lived by professional athletes, but the last 17 years for Tiger since the fateful Thanksgiving that we all...
It's taken many turns.
It's been absolutely crazy.
I hope you can get healthy.
I just imagine that when you're that type of pressure and that type of... it just would be so hard to be normal, right?
Yeah, it would.
And for his case, probably really, really hard to feel normal, as a baseline.
Yeah, and you get to age 50 and you're not able to compete at that high level, and you think you still can, and you're fighting through the injuries, and you got to take painkillers
you're
for the pain.
hurting all the time.
Yeah, he's in constant. I can't imagine what it's like to be him, to be honest.
Yeah. All right, we'll take the break here. We'll come back. We've got more to go right around the corner. 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Every day, the world gets a little weirder and a lot more awesome. Cool Stuff Daily takes a look at everything from mining in space to the latest in the fight against cancer to how AI is, well, basically changing everything. It's all the cool stuff you didn't know you needed to know. Join us for Cool Stuff Daily as we take a quick look at science, tech, and the wait, what stories that make you sound way smarter at dinner. Subscribe to Cool Stuff Daily now, because the future's happening fast, and it's way too fun to miss.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.